All four fronts cleared. Nearly 267,000 monsters eliminated across the board. The battle report materialized in my brain with satisfying finality. Rat people killed, 57,634. Skeleton Knights, 86,325. Wasteland Werewolves, 59,763. Wasteland Demons, 63,275. Friendly Casualties, 0. Again. Battle duration, 1 hour, 8 minutes. Rating, A grade. Again. Rewards poured in. 110,000 gold coins between base and bonus. 11 superior chests. 1 epic chest. Plus, all the combat drops collected throughout the battle. Another massive payday from another massive slaughter. At this rate, siege days were becoming my favorite part of the week. Nothing said, good morning, quite like 6 figures of gold income before lunch. Then 2 warning messages appeared, and my celebration skidded to a halt. Warning, you have slaughtered tens of thousands of wasteland werewolves. Your identity and territory location have been revealed to the wasteland werewolf tribe. You have earned their hatred. Expect attacks at any time. Warning, you have slaughtered tens of thousands of wasteland demons. Your identity and territory location have been revealed to the wasteland demon tribe. You have earned their hatred. Expect attacks at any time. My face twitched. 2 racial hatred debuffs. In one day, because I'd killed so many werewolves and demons during the siege that their entire species now had a personal vendetta against me. These weren't random wandering monsters. Werewolves and demons were established tribal civilizations on the Windspeak Wasteland, organized societies with leaders, territory, armies, and apparently excellent record-keeping about who murdered their people. The continental hierarchy went. Wandering monsters at the bottom, then small camps, medium camps, large camps, small tribes, medium tribes, large tribes, and finally full independent nations. The werewolves and demons were tribal-level civilizations, meaning they had real military capability, strategic thinking, and now a burning desire to see Chun Mingdao's territory reduced to rubble. Regular siege monsters were mindless drones following system rules. Tribal enemies were intelligent. They'd probe for weaknesses. They'd choose when and where to attack. They'd coordinate. They'd bring their best warriors specifically calibrated to counter my defenses. I'd basically poke 2 hornets' nests simultaneously while standing directly underneath both of them. Could my forces handle it? Probably. 1,000 epic centaurs plus 12 legendary behemoths plus automated defense towers was an absurd amount of military power for day 9. But probably wasn't, certainly, and 2 hostile tribes sending targeted raids on top of daily monster sieges would stretch my resources thinner than I liked. I stared at the warning messages, sighed deeply, and mentally added tribal warfare to my already overflowing to-do list, right between build more housing and stop touching cellophane inappropriately during work hours. Day 9. A-grade siege rating. 250,000 monsters deleted. 12 golden giants unleashed. 2 entire civilizations now plotting my downfall. 0 casualties. 0 regrets. Moderate concern about the future. Just another Tuesday for Chun Mingdao, the orphan who accidentally became the most hated lord on the wasteland. I cracked open 14 treasure chests from the siege rewards like a kid ripping through birthday presents at a party where the gifts were made of violence and gold. 13 superior grade, 1 epic grade. The epic chest was specifically dropped by the rat people, which felt like poetic justice. They nibbled my centaurs, so I nibbled their loot table. The superior chests coughed up the usual assortment of gold, materials, and equipment. Nice. Expected. Filed under. Business as usual. But the epic chest? The epic chest made me question whether the universe had been secretly rooting for me this entire time and just forgot to mention it. Congratulations. You received epic grade troop building. Rat people nest. I stared at those words until my eyeballs dried out. A troop building. An epic grade troop building. Not a summoning card that gives you a one-time batch of soldiers and then disappears. A permanent, recruitable, unlimited use building that lets you produce soldiers forever. The difference between a summoning card and a troop building is the difference between finding a sandwich and finding a sandwich factory. One feeds you today. The other feeds you until the sun explodes. For lords, troop buildings are the single most coveted items in existence. Your exclusive troop, like my centaurs, comes free with the Lord class. Everything else requires finding buildings through treasure chests, quest rewards, or trades, and the drop rates are so catastrophically low that most lords go their entire careers without finding one above rare grade. I'd opened dozens upon dozens of chests since arriving here, and this was the first troop building I'd ever received. And it was epic grade. On day 9, during a newbie trial where most people considered finding a rare grade anything to be lottery-winning luck. The Rat People Nest could recruit 5 different tiers of rat warriors, from common grunts at 5 gold coins each all the way up to epic grade rat chieftains at 460 coins. A complete military recruitment pipeline for an entire species permanently attached to my territory. Any other lord would tattoo this building's description on their chest and worship it nightly. But I wasn't any other lord. And after 30 seconds of careful analysis, I decided to sell it. Here's my reasoning, and I promise it wasn't insanity despite what the entire chat platform was about to scream at me. Rat people were agility specialists. My centaurs were strength specialists. Putting them together didn't create synergy. It created 2 armies that excelled independently but couldn't support each other's weaknesses. What I actually needed were troops that complemented my centaurs. Flying units for aerial coverage, magic users for range support, aquatic soldiers for water terrain. Rats didn't fill any of those gaps. They were just more ground troops with different stats. Redundant, not complementary. More importantly, I remembered something from class. Something my beautiful, building-slicing teacher Miss Ng had mentioned during one of her lectures about upgrading exclusive troops. There were special items that could permanently enhance your exclusive troop species, attribute enhancement stones that boosted specific stats, and cultivation technique embedding cards that gave your species innate cultivation abilities. She'd listed 17 or 18 methods total, most of them legendary rarities that existed only in rumors and academic papers. But attribute enhancement stones and embedding cards were the common ones. Common meaning they actually existed somewhere obtainable, unlike the others which were basically fairy tales with footnotes. If I could trade this epic building for enhancement, items that permanently upgraded my centaur's wind and agility attributes, or their physical attributes, the long-term value would be astronomically higher than recruiting a separate rat army I'd have to feed, house, equip, and manage alongside my existing forces. 1 species perfected versus 2 species competing for resources. The choice was obvious to anyone who understood lord development strategy at a fundamental level. So I posted the announcement in the public chat, not on the trading platform. In the chat, maximum visibility, maximum chaos, epic grade troop building, Rat People Nest. For sale. The chat flatlined for exactly 2 seconds. Then it exploded like I dropped a lit match into a fireworks warehouse. Epic grade troop building? On day 9? Impossible. Fix your eyes, idiot, it's right there. Which god-tier lord found this? Poor little level 2 me is hiding in a neutral camp afraid to go outside, while people are finding epic buildings. Then someone noticed the seller's name, and the energy shifted from disbelief to worship. The owner is Chun Mingdao. Of course it's Chun Mingdao. This man isn't a lord, he's a walking treasure chest with legs. I let the hype build for about 2 minutes, savoring the chaos like fine wine. Then I dropped the second bomb. I will trade the Rat People Nest for wind agility or wind body exclusive troop attribute enhancement stones and corresponding cultivation technique embedding cards. The chat died again. Resurrection. Then absolute pandemonium. He's selling it. Is he insane? You can't give up an epic troop building. The drop rate is basically 0. Sir, please reconsider. If your exclusive troops are bad, just abandon them. Epic buildings are irreplaceable. Random strangers were genuinely concerned for my mental health. People I'd never met were begging me to reconsider like I'd announced plans to jump off a cliff. The emotional investment from complete strangers was simultaneously touching and hilarious. Then the smart people showed up, family heirs who immediately understood the strategic implications and started salivating. If Chun Mingdao was trading away an epic building for enhancement items, it meant his exclusive troop species was either already strong enough to justify permanent investment, or he had a method of making weak troops strong. Either way, this was blood in the water, and the sharks came circling. He's obviously got a high-grade exclusive species if he's investing in enhancement. Shut up. Maybe he's just stupid. Stupid people don't build 2-star towns on day 7. You absolute walnut. The family heirs started arguing with regular players, who started arguing with each other, who started arguing with trolls who just wanted to watch the world burn. The chat devolved into a 3-way civil war between people defending my decision, people questioning my sanity, and people who just enjoyed typing insults at strangers. Meanwhile, I sat back and waited for the private messages to start flowing. Because behind all that public screaming, the real players, the ones with actual enhancement stones and embedding cards tucked away in family vaults, would be sliding into my inbox with very quiet, very serious offers. The bait was set. The fish were circling. All Chen Mingdao had to do was wait for the biggest one to bite. Let me explain why I was about to trade away the most valuable item any lord in this trial had ever seen, because apparently the entire chat thought I'd suffered brain damage. Attribute enhancement stones and cultivation embedding cards are the premium items for lord development. Enhancement stones permanently alter your exclusive troops-based stats. Embedding cards permanently install a cultivation technique into your lord's heart, so every future recruit is born knowing that technique, with matching equipment automatically generated. We're talking fundamental species-level genetic engineering through magical rocks and fancy playing cards. On Blue Star, family hierarchies are literally defined by access to these items. Small families can prepare basic supplies for their kids' trials. Medium families bring summoning cards and resource packs. Large families smuggle in entire troop buildings. But top-tier families? They give their children enhancement stones and embedding cards. The gap between a large family and a top-tier family is like the gap between a millionaire and a god. Most families don't even know where these items come from, let alone possess any. My plan was elegant in its greed. 2 top-tier enhancement stones, 1 wind body for my male centaurs, 1 wind agility for my females, would permanently restructure their base attributes toward extreme specialization. Combined with synthesis, I could potentially create extreme path centaurs like those golden behemoths. Imagine 500 female centaurs with agility stats so extreme that even rat people would look slow by comparison. Imagine 500 males with body stats so absurd they could arm wrestle hill giants and win. That was the dream. The embedding cards would install permanent cultivation techniques, meaning every centaur I recruited would emerge from the portal already knowing a complete combat art. No training time, no teaching, no distributing manuals. Just instant martial mastery baked into their DNA. The efficiency gains were staggering. Was the rat people nest worth more on paper? Absolutely. An epic-grade permanent troop building was irreplaceable. But what good was recruiting rats when I already had a superior recruitment pipeline for centaurs? Adding rats meant splitting resources between 2 armies, doubling logistics headaches, and gaining troops that didn't even complement my existing forces. Enhancement stones turned my 1 army into something transcendent. The nest gave me a second mediocre army I didn't need. So I opened my friend request panel and started sorting through the garbage. First wave, freeloaders. Give me the nest, and you can be our family's subordinate lord. Oh wow, slavery with extra steps. How generous. Blocked. Our Wang family is the #1 clan in Sichuan City. Congratulations, I don't care. Blocked. My name is Fang Jiao. Our family is always looking for lord sons-in-law. Ma'am. I'm 18, and my romantic life currently involves a centaur. I have enough complications. Blocked. Second wave, lowballers and intimidators. People offering scraps while implying their families would crush me if I refused. The negotiation equivalent of a chihuahua growling at a bear. Blocked, 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 straight into the digital void where bad offers go to die. After clearing out the trash, about a dozen serious offers remained. One from a guy named Zhu Tianyu in Tianhai City offered a wind agility embedding card, but nothing else, promising to complete the deal after the trial. Yeah, sure. Let me just trust a stranger's post-dated promise while holding the most coveted item on the continent. What could possibly go wrong? That's not a trade. That's a prayer dressed up as a business proposal. Then I saw the Ying family offer. Ying Fengche, presumably related to that princess who kept finishing second behind me, had messaged with 2 enhancement stones and 2 embedding cards. My heart rate spiked. I clicked the details immediately. Enhancement stones, legendary grade. Wind body attribute. Would significantly boost body stats and wind affinity for my exclusive troops. Embedding cards, legendary grade. Wind body attribute. Would install a superior grade cultivation technique called Howling Wind Art, solid offer. Legitimate quality. Exactly what I'd asked for. But all 4 items were classified as ordinary, grade within their category. Enhancement stones came in ordinary and top-tier variants. Ordinary stones boosted stats nicely. Top-tier stones completely reconstructed your troops' fundamental attributes, potentially creating extreme path soldiers. The difference between nice upgrade and species redefining transformation, the Ying offer was good. But it wasn't the offer. Not yet. Then a familiar name lit up my friend panel with multiple unread messages. Xiong Tianxiang, the rich kid from the Xiong family who'd helped me inflate the green snake armor price on day 2. The guy who'd publicly defended me against haters in the chat. The one person in this entire trial who'd been consistently decent to me without asking for anything in return. I opened his messages with genuine curiosity. Congrats. Your luck is absolutely insane as always. I'll be direct. This is for my cousin. Yes, that kind of relationship. Then 4 item links. I clicked each one with trembling fingers. 2 enhancement stones. Both top tier. The real deal. The species redefining, attribute reconstructing, potentially extreme path creating pinnacle versions that most families couldn't obtain even if they wanted to. 1 wind body, 1 wind agility. Exactly matching my male and female centaur specifications as if he'd read my mind and rated a vault specifically calibrated to my needs. 2 embedding cards. Both epic grade. Both derived from something called the Wind God Divine Scripture, not some random bargain bin technique. A genuine divine origin cultivation art that would turn every recruited centaur into a wind element combat specialist from the moment of birth. His final message sealed it. No other family will casually hand over top-tier enhancement stones. Don't miss this opportunity. He was right. Top-tier stones were family heirlooms guarded more carefully than children. The Ying family, the ruling dynasty of Dragon Country, had only offered ordinary grade stones. Xiong Tianxiang was casually tossing out the premium version like spare change, because the Xiong family apparently operated on a level of wealth where even priceless artifacts had negotiable price tags. I stared at his offer for a full minute, running calculations, checking for catches, searching for the hidden knife. There was always a hidden knife with powerful families. Always strings attached, always favors implied, always leverage being quietly established. But Xiong Tianxiang had been straight with me since day 1. He'd helped me profit without asking for a cut. He'd defended my reputation publicly without being asked. And now he was offering exactly what I needed at exactly the quality I wanted for exactly the item I was selling. No manipulation, no intimidation, no weird marriage proposals. Just a clean trade between 2 people who respected each other. His cousin was apparently a lord who needed the rat people nest. Family connection, personal favor, practical need. Simple motivations I could understand and verify. My thumb hovered over the accept button while my brain ran one final check. Was this the best possible deal? Could I squeeze more from someone else? Probably. If I played the Ying family against the Xiong family, started a bidding war, dragged negotiations out over days, sure, maybe I'd extract additional concessions. But Chun Mingdao remembered who helped him when nobody else would. And loyalty, even in small doses, was worth more than marginal profit increases. Decision made. Time to transform my centaurs into something the continent had never seen before. So I just pulled off the trade of the century, and honestly, I'm still giggling about it. This dude Xiong Tianxiang hit me up, wanting my epic-grade Ratman nest building. Sure, whatever, I didn't need a bunch of rat people running around my territory anyway. But what he offered in return? 2 legendary attribute stones and 2 legendary skill cards. The guy was basically throwing family heirlooms at me like candy at a parade. I poked around asking why these things were so special, and he got all mysterious on me. You don't need to know. Top secret family stuff. Classic rich kid energy. But I checked everyone else's offers. And yeah, they were all offering basic garbage compared to this. Turns out the mega-rich families have been hoarding these evolution items like dragons sitting on gold. No wonder they stay on top. They've literally got cheat codes. I accepted the trade faster than you can say, sucker, and boom, 2 glowing cyan crystals, and 2 fancy cards materialized in my hands. Wind element, body boosting, capable of evolving my exclusive troops into something called Extreme Path Soldiers. Music to my ears. My other treasure chest gave me 13,000 gold coins, some arrow towers, a fireball tower, and a wall blueprint. Cool, but compared to those legendary items, that's like getting socks for Christmas after someone already gave you a sports car. I slapped down the towers, watched them magically build themselves. Love when that happens. Then called over my 2 centaur commanders, Sealfini and Cello. Nobody goes hunting today. Tell everyone to sit down, shut up, and no matter what happens next, do not freak out. They nodded and left. Good soldiers. Then I walked up to my lord's heart crystal and shoved all 4 items into it like I was feeding a magical vending machine. The system pinged me. Your centaur troops are now evolving. Oh, and by the way, everyone loses 1 level because evolution ain't free. Have fun waiting 3 minutes. Thanks, system. Very generous. What happened next was honestly disturbing. Every single centaur in my territory started glowing gold like they swallowed a spotlight. Then their bodies began inflating and deflating like someone was playing accordion with their ribcage. Bones cracking, muscles popping, sweat pouring everywhere. They looked like balloon animals being twisted by a particularly sadistic clown. I told them not to scream, and to their credit, they mostly just groaned through clenched teeth while their entire biology rearranged itself. Respect. 3 minutes later, the glow faded, and holy crap, my boys. The male centaurs were now 6 meters long, built like tanks crossbred with Greek gods. Muscles on muscles, thick flowing manes, and brand new hurricane-themed weapon sets that looked absolutely terrifying. These dudes went from decent cavalry to your entire army is already dead, they just don't know it yet. And the ladies? For meters of sleek, graceful death. Skin like porcelain, bodies like Olympic athletes, moving with the kind of elegance that says, I will slice you in half and look gorgeous doing it. New whirlwind gear head to toe. I pulled up Cello's stats and nearly choked. Epic grade now, level 8, body stat at 7,440, growth potential reaching lesser god status, rocking a full hurricane equipment set, and packing skills all the way up to SS rank, sword chi storm. This man could sneeze and flatten a small army. Sealfini wasn't far behind either. Epic grade ranger with agility pushing 6,000, her own whirlwind gear set, and an equally ridiculous skill tree topped with the same SS rank finisher. Both of them could now be fused with 5 others of their rank to create a legendary Centaur Baron. I don't even know what that looks like yet, but I'm already scared of my own troops. I stood there looking at my newly evolved Centaur army, cracked my knuckles, and couldn't help but laugh. Those elite families back in the Dragon Nation think they're hot stuff. They should see what I just built with their own secret treasures. Today was a good day. After spending half the day poking and prodding my freshly evolved centaurs like a kid inspecting new toys on Christmas morning, I can confirm, the upgrade was absolutely bonkers. Here's the deal with the evolution. The wind element enhancement juiced up everyone's agility stats like crazy. My male centaurs became body and speed tanks. Their main thing is raw physical power, but thanks to the wind martial arts, they're also surprisingly fast for creatures the size of minivans. The females? Pure speed demons with agility through the roof. And somehow they kept most of their body stats too. Nobody told me I could have both. That's like ordering a salad and getting a free steak on the side. Then I checked out the equipment sets, and my jaw basically detached from my face. The hurricane set on the males? Epic grade. Levels up automatically with the wearer, and the stat bonuses are obscene. The axe spear alone adds nearly 3,000 to body and agility. The full set bonus? 50% boost to all stats. That's not an upgrade. That's straight up cheating. My boys basically tripled their combat power just by existing in their new gear. The whirlwind set on the females is the same story but tuned for speed. The boots alone give over 3,600 to agility. With the full set bonus, these ladies aren't running. They're basically teleporting. I spent a while thinking it through. Martial arts in this world train special spiritual energy and boost your level, but the real power multiplier is equipment, especially full sets with percentage-based bonuses. And if I stack special buildings like my war totem pole on top of that, the scaling gets genuinely terrifying. Those elite families really are playing a completely different game. They don't change the troops' base quality. They just evolve them into something far beyond what the quality label suggests. What other tricks are they hiding? I don't even want to think about it. Anyway, all doubts officially erased. Everything Instructor Ing Shuyin told me about those stones and cards was legit. My centaurs are living proof, standing right there looking magnificent and deadly. Time to test drive the merchandise. Sealfini, you stay. Cello, take the troops hunting. Be back by dark. Cello saluted me with literal stars in his eyes. The guy could feel how different he was now and was practically vibrating with excitement to go break something. When the male centaurs charged out, the ground shook like a convoy of tanks rolling through. But the females? They just vanished. 1 second they were there, next second, gone. Nothing but fading green blurs where centaur women used to be. Their speed was absolutely insane. After a quick meal, spiritually enhanced food combo, tier 4, very fancy, I hopped onto Celafini's back, pointed at the horizon, and said the magic words, catch up to the army. I immediately regretted not wearing a seatbelt. She kicked off, and I nearly backflipped right off her rear end. I grabbed her armor like my life depended on it, because it literally did. She turned into a green streak, and within seconds my entire lordship territory disappeared behind us. Buildings whipped past like they were made of smoke. I couldn't even open my eyes against the wind. This was not fast. This was my eyeballs are trying to retreat into my skull, fast. Best trait ever. I screamed into the hurricane that was my commute. Those family clans really are something else. They don't touch the troops' quality rating, but they evolve them into extreme path soldiers that fight way above their weight class. What other secrets are they sitting on? Honestly, a little scary to think about. Half an hour later, we caught up with the army at a goblin camp. And by caught up, I mean arrived at a massacre already in progress. Goblins, for the record, are this widespread species across the continent. Barely a meter tall, shaped like potatoes with legs, brown skin, oversized heads, and ridiculous bony feet. Most of them are normal-grade weaklings. Their elites barely scratch fine-grade. Against my newly evolved centaur army, they had the survival odds of a sandcastle versus a tsunami. The male centaurs were plowing through everything like bulldozers with axes. Goblins, stone huts, furniture, didn't matter. Everything in their path got turned into rubble and regret. Methodical, devastating, unstoppable. Meanwhile, green blurs were zipping through the rest of the camp. The females, appearing just long enough to flash a sword strike before vanishing again. Goblins were dropping left and right without even seeing what killed them. Somehow the ladies were killing faster than the males, despite the boys making 10 times more noise doing it. 1,000 goblin camp. Wiped out in under 30 minutes. Not even a challenge. More like a warm-up jog. I raised the camp and pushed forward. This continent is wild. Mountains, canyons, plains, glaciers, and hills all mashed together like someone spilled a geography textbook. Somewhere out there are the wasteland werewolf and wasteland troll bases that attacked my territory before. Time to go find their homes and return the favor. With interest, we found the wasteland werewolf base, and let me tell you, it was almost cute. A big valley between 2 mountains, river running through the middle, stone and wooden houses everywhere. Werewolves just vibing, cooking meat over campfires, tanning leather, little wolf pups chasing each other around. Real wholesome village scene. You know, if you ignored the piles of crushed bones scattered literally everywhere like lawn decorations. Now look, there's a rule in the Myriad Races Continent Handbook. Chapter 1. Rule 1. Do not waste your sympathy on these creatures. Countless people died learning that lesson the hard way. So I didn't even blink. I pointed at the valley and said one word. Attack. What happened next was beautiful in the most violent way possible. My male centaurs rolled in like a freight train convention. Full hurricane armor gleaming cyan, hair tied back with glowing bands, axe spears raised, enchanted jewelry flickering on their necks and wrists making them even faster. They looked like a military parade designed by someone who thought regular armies weren't scary enough. The werewolves spotted us and went absolutely nuts. Howling, screaming, shoving their elderly and kids toward the exits while warriors poured out like angry ants. Thousands of them, forming a black wave of fangs and claws charging straight at us. No weapons, no armor, no formation, just rage and fingernails. Against fully armored epic-grade centaurs. I almost felt bad. Almost. The first collision sounded like someone dropped a piano store into a blender. My centaurs hit the front line and just kept going. Axe spears skewered multiple werewolves like kebabs, and the boys didn't even bother shaking them off, just bulldozed forward with wolf kebabs still attached. Claws scraped uselessly against heavy armor like kittens attacking a tank. Wave after wave of werewolves threw themselves at us. Wave after wave got trampled into paste. It was less battle and more what happens when you run into a wall repeatedly. Then the second wave showed up, and these guys actually had some brain cells. Real weapons, swords, axes, war hammers, shields. Front line wearing decent leather armor and holding anti-cavalry pikes in formation. Okay, credit where it's due. Someone in this tribe actually read a tactics book. Didn't matter. Tearing wind assault. Activate. My centaurs lit up like cyan rockets, their bodies stretching into blurred arrows of pure speed. They hit that pike formation and went through it like it was made of wet tissue paper. Bodies and debris flew everywhere. The defensive line existed for approximately 2 seconds. After breaking through, my army split into 12-man squads and fanned out across the camp. What followed was basically a highlight reel of axe spear excellence. Stab, chop, hook, smash. These weapons could do it all, and my boys were demonstrating every function on the local wildlife. The werewolves kept coming, eyes blood red, screaming and clawing, but they couldn't even scratch the paint job on my centaur's armor. Imagine punching a moving car with your bare hands. Now imagine the car is also swinging an axe. That's what these wolves were dealing with. Meanwhile, my female rangers had already ghosted into position across the entire camp. Green blurs flickering between buildings, swords flashing, werewolves dropping dead before they even knew what direction, dangerous, was coming from. Some of the ladies had already circled around to block every exit, picking off runners like it was target practice. It wasn't a battle. It was pest control with style. I raised the camp, and we kept moving. The rest of the afternoon was basically a world tour of destruction. Fine-grade caveman camp, flattened. Rare-grade fishman camp, sushi. Rare-grade harpy camp, plucked. Outstanding grade silver giant ape camp, monkey business concluded. Outstanding grade kobold camp, exterminated. Outstanding grade swan people camp, cancelled. 17 or 18 major camps, all wiped off the map. Total casualties on my side. 0. Not a scratch, not a bruise, not even a sprained ankle. In a world where death is permanent unless you've got resurrection skills or items, which I absolutely don't, my army steamrolled nearly 20 camps without losing a single soldier. That's not impressive, that's statistically suspicious. But as the sun started setting, reality crept back in. My territory was sitting back home with only 12 golden behemoths on guard duty. 12. That's like leaving your mansion protected by a dozen really angry golden retrievers. Effective? Maybe. Reassuring? Not even slightly. I called the retreat and booked it home. One speed blur ride on Sealfini later, I checked every corner of my territory for signs of attack. Nothing. Clean. Safe. I finally exhaled. Here's the thing about being a Lord-class player. Your territory is your life. Without the defensive barrier that only unlocks at city level, I'm basically living in an open-air house with a "please don't rob me" sign on the door. If it weren't for wanting to personally witness my upgraded centaurs in action, I wouldn't have left home at all. But man, was it worth the trip. My centaurs are absolutely disgusting in the best possible way, and somewhere out there, the wasteland trolls are next on my to-do list. They just don't know it yet. I slept like a baby that night. Territory secure. Centaurs upgraded to god-tier killing machines. What's not to love? I slept so hard, I didn't wake up until the sun was practically overhead on day 10. Checked my kill notifications, and apparently, I missed the entire morning monster siege. 200,000 monsters showed up. Outstanding grade silver giant apes, outstanding grade minotaurs, outstanding grade wasteland werewolves, and even epic grade two-headed dragons. My army finished them all in under an hour. Without me. While I was drooling on my pillow. I love my life. After breakfast, Tier 4 spiritual food combo. Naturally, because I'm fancy now, I got to work on the boring Lord stuff. Synthesized all the goods from my blacksmith shop, restaurant, and clinic, listed everything on the trading platform, then cracked open the 3 or 4 dozen treasure chests I'd been hoarding. The haul was ridiculous. Nearly 200,000 gold coins, 7 arrow towers, a ballista blueprint, 3 outstanding grade troop summoning cards, and enough crafting materials to fill my entire warehouse to the ceiling. I immediately listed the summoning cards and spare equipment for sale, then burned through the low-tier materials on upgrades. More buildings popped up across my territory. Looking good. Then I remembered the blacksmiths I'd assigned to forge whirlwind sets. Collected the finished ones, told them to start researching magic warrior sets instead, and began combining the normal grade whirlwind sets into higher tiers. Didn't have quite enough, so I ordered a few more forged, and eventually merged everything into one gorgeous outstanding grade whirlwind set. I slapped it on the auction platform. Starting price, 1.5 million gold coins. 24-hour timer. The platform automatically blasted out a premium item notification to every player's chat, and the reactions were immediate and hilarious. Oh, it's Lord Chu Feng auctioning again. Makes sense. A full set? He's selling sets now. Bro, this guy sold an epic-grade Ratman building to the Xiong family. A weapon set is pocket change to him. Small potatoes. Total small potatoes. Please, sir, leave some scraps for us noobs. One. Then some guy came in hot with, stop whining. The continent is huge. Go hunt your own stuff. Another helpful soul chimed in. There are hidden monsters near every player during the trial period that drop set equipment. If you're diligent, you can collect a full set before trials end. What? Why didn't anyone say this sooner? Because people spent weeks gathering that intel. Genius. Why would they hand it to you for free? You think knowing helps. You'd still have to leave the safe zone. Got the guts for that. Watch me. I closed the chat. These people were exhausting. Being a lord looks glamorous from the outside, but behind the scenes, it's basically running a small country. Resource management, troop allocation, training farmers. It's a never-ending juggling act. Everything has to develop together or the whole thing falls apart. Case in point, my spirit fields. I had all these beautiful farmlands sitting empty because I didn't have enough people to plant crops. Right now it wasn't critical, but long-term? That's like leaving money on the ground and walking away. Unacceptable for any self-respecting lord. So I spent the next few days fixing that. By day 13 at noon, the last spirit field was finally cultivated and planted. Done. I tallied up the books. Between monster siege loot, centaur hunting profits, daily trades, and that whirlwind set auction, I'd poured over 2.8 million gold coins into development. But it was worth it because 13 days to reach 3-star town. That's pretty decent, right? Upgrade. Materials vanished from the warehouse like a magic trick. The ground shook, and golden light washed over my entire territory like sunrise on steroids. Then the global announcement dropped. Congratulations to rookie Lord Chu Feng for being the first to advance to 3-star, large, town. Reward. 1 legendary 2-star treasure chest. Reward. 200 reputation points. The chat exploded. Again, why are you surprised at this point? Force of habit, okay, just as I, the Great Huang, predicted. Of course it was Lord Chu Feng first. Speaking of which, where's everyone else? Nobody's even reached 2-star toe. Congratulations to rookie Lord Ing Shuyan for being the second to advance to 2-star, medium, town. The timing could not have been worse. Some poor guy in chat had literally jinxed her mid-sentence. I winced and typed, Instructor Ing. I swear I didn't do it on purpose. You believe me, right? Of course I don't, you scumbag. You're a curse. Seriously, read the room before you talk? I closed the chat with a bitter smile. Somehow I'd accidentally upstaged Ing Shuyan again. She was probably somewhere crushing rocks with her bare hands out of pure frustration. Totally not my fault though. I just upgrade faster than everyone else. Can't help being built different. My territory just hit 3-star town and the stat sheet was looking spicy. All my troops got a 30% boost to every stat just for standing inside my borders. Farmers and craftsmen got 30% better at their jobs. Everyone's training speed, energy recovery, and healing all jumped 20%. Spirit fields grew 20% faster with 40% more yield. Territory expanded to 80 by 80 kilometers. Population cap, 80,000. That's not a town. That's a small country with attitude. I started running the numbers in my head. With my synthesis talent, I could do something nobody else would even dream of. Build an army where the regular soldiers are outstanding grade, the elites are legendary, and the emergency trump cards are mythical. Most lords would cry tears of joy over a single legendary unit. I'm planning to make them my middle management. For now, though, I need to recruit smart. Trial period rules keep things relatively safe, since opponents are capped in strength. Once trials end, all bets off. You could bump into actual gods out there. The big family kids will just parachute into their clan's pre-built territories and coast through life like trust fund babies in gated communities. Safe, comfortable, and completely devoid of ambition. Their family elders pull their hair out over it. But hey, not my problem. My problem was that I was staring at something in my hand, and my brain had completely short-circuited. A golden hero card. Legendary grade. Heroes. Heroes. These are the crown jewels for any lord. Special beings could be legendary warriors who once lived on this continent, or even characters from novels, movies, and anime brought to life. They come in two flavors: combat types who lead armies, and administrative types who handle logistics and governance. Basically generals and prime ministers. Every lord desperately needs both. And hero cards? The drop rate is so pathetically low that most people will live their entire lives without ever seeing one. The lucky few who do usually get normal or fine-grade garbage. Only the absolute top-tier families like the Ing clan or Xiong clan can afford to hand legendary heroes to their chosen heirs. I just pulled one from a treasure chest. A mythical grade treasure chest, but still. Legendary hero. From a box. The universe clearly has favorites, and I am one of them. The card itself was gorgeous. Crystal material covered in intricate golden runes, glowing like it was personally offended by darkness. I rubbed my hands together, took a deep breath, and whispered the magic word. Summon. The card dissolved into sparkles and formed a glowing portal. According to the textbooks, your first hero during trials is guaranteed to match your exclusive troop type. For centaurs, that meant possibilities like Chandrila, Nilialu, Chiron, or maybe someone not even in the records. A figure stepped through the light, and my heart may have actually stopped for a second. She was a centaur woman. Over 4 meters long, horse body standing 2.2 meters, human torso adding another 1.3. Her upper half looked like a human woman except for a pair of elegant pointed ears, elf style. Like Silfini, she had smooth hairless skin, but hers was this almost supernatural silver white that practically glowed in the sunlight. Black leather armor, perfectly fitted. Brown cloak draped over her horseback, flowing dramatically because of course it did. One hand gripping a silver-white spear, the other holding a golden-brown round shield, and at her waist hung a black war horn covered in purple patterns. Her face was, okay, look, I've flipped through the beauty magazine, back in the capital a few times. Purely for cultural research, obviously. This centaur lady's face could have graced any cover. Sharp features, steel in her eyes, the kind of look that says, I will lead 10,000 troops into battle and look amazing doing it. And combined with that half-human, half-horse body, it added this exotic mystique that made your imagination go places it probably shouldn't. Absolute top tier, I muttered, feeling a very complicated mix of admiration and the primal urge to somehow impress this woman who could definitely kill me 17 different ways. She stepped fully through the portal, blinking at the world around her. Her eyes closed as she received information directly from Heaven's Will. Basically the universe's orientation packet for newcomers. Myriad races continent. Lords. Professionals. War for supremacy. Eternal life. Godhood, she murmured to herself, absorbing it all. What a fascinating world. I stood there watching my brand new legendary hero process the meaning of existence, grinning like an idiot. Today's loot summary: 1 newly upgraded mega territory, 1 army building master plan, and 1 absolutely stunning centaur warrior woman materializing from a golden card like the universe gift-wrapped her just for me. Day 13 is officially my new favorite day. So you're the one who summoned me? My master, she said, master, like it was a curse word. Before I could even open my mouth, my brain got dinged with a notification. Lucifer believes nobody deserves to be her master. Affection -20. Current 40. Warning: raise Lucifer's affection or you will lose her. 40 points. 40. Starting affection is supposed to be 60. That's normal, like co-workers who tolerate each other. She walked out of my golden card, already hating me. Most heroes get a little bonus from first impressions. Some like strong leaders, some care about looks, some just want power. This woman apparently likes freedom, which means something in her past kept her chained down, and now she's projecting her trust issues onto me. Cool. Great. My brand new legendary hero has emotional baggage. But I had a plan. The handbook says, when facing a powerful subordinate, even if you're panicking inside, act casual. Let them see you as someone totally unbothered. I wasn't even faking it. I looked her dead in those intense eyes and said, so let me get this straight. I bust my butt to earn a golden hero card, and the hero I summoned is giving me attitude. Lucifer is intrigued by your calm demeanor. Affection 5. Current. 45. Baby steps. I smiled lightly. Guess what? Why do you think someone as weak as me managed to summon a legendary hero like you? While she was chewing on that, I checked my gold balance. Nearly 100,000. And mentally hit recruit. The Lord's heart lit up, a portal opened, and normal-grade centaurs started pouring out like horses from a clown car. They filled every open space around us within seconds. Lucifer looked at them like I'd just shown her a pile of garbage. Normal-grade centaurs? You're showing me these mindless beasts? Why? Then her eyes narrowed and she sneered. Wait. You don't actually think I'd consider these brainless animals my kin, do you? They're not even intelligent. Pathetic. Lucifer feels insulted by your insensitivity. Affection -10. Current. 35. Warning. Your hero may attack you or FLE at any moment. Warning. My eye twitched so hard it almost fell out. I was mentally screaming at whoever wrote the hero handbook. It said centaur heroes care about their people. It said, wait. She said, intelligent. The keyword is intelligence. She doesn't care about wild centaurs. She cares about smart centaurs. The ones with actual minds and personalities. Okay, new plan. Same presentation, better punchline. I kept my poker face flawless and said, open your eyes wide. Watch carefully. 96,000 gold coins evaporated from my account. More normal-grade centaurs flooded out. Lucifer's eye rolling was reaching Olympic levels. Then I whispered, synthesize. Golden light erupted everywhere. The normal-grade centaurs started merging like magical smoothie ingredients. 2 became fine-grade. Those combined into rare, then outstanding, and finally, 400 epic-grade centaur chieftains materialized, gleaming with power and intelligence, and thundered in perfect unison. Hail, Lord Chun Mingdao. Lucifer's jaw dropped. Literally, her mouth hung open like someone unplugged her brain. You. How? Lucifer is stunned by your ability to transform normal-grade centaurs into epic-grade intelligent centaurs. Affection 20. Current. 55. Lucifer is consumed with curiosity and desperately wants to learn your technique. Affection 20. Current. 75. Status. Friendly. Boom. From 35 to 75 in 10 seconds flat. From, might murder you in your sleep, to, actually kind of likes you. All it took was showing off. I could see the gears turning in her head, though. This girl wasn't just impressed. She was scheming. She wanted to learn synthesis for herself, probably dreaming about building her own centaur empire. Ambitious little horse lady. I put on my most mysterious smile and said, That was just a party trick. Stick with me, and you'll see real miracles. While she stood there frowning and calculating, I sneaked a peek at her full stat sheet and nearly had a heart attack. Lucifer. Race, Centaur Elf Hybrid. Quality, Legendary 3-star. Job, Hero. Talent, Command Type. Level 9. Her stats? Spirit, 120,528. Soul, 147,789. Body, 158,787. Agility, 161,334. 160,000 agility. My best centaur has like 6,000. She has 26 times that. This woman is basically a natural disaster with legs. 8 of them. Her martial art? Wind Thunder Divine Scripture. Mythical grade. Her equipment? A full 9-piece Wind Thunder Divine set. Her skills? Multiple SSSS rank abilities. That's 4 S's. I didn't even know the ranking went that high. And then I read the flavor text at the bottom. Do you like wild little ponies? She's exactly that. This is a powerful being from a fantasy world. Give her the warmth of home, and you'll capture her heart. Capture her heart? Excuse me? Reproductive isolation, ever heard of it? Whatever cosmic pervert designed the rules of this continent is absolutely unhinged. I closed the panel, took a deep breath, and tried very hard to think professional thoughts about my new legendary hero who could flatten mountains and looked like she belonged on the cover of Fantasy Vogue. Professional thoughts. Strictly professional. This is going to be complicated. Let me break down exactly how broken my new hero is, because I need someone to understand the absolute nonsense I'm dealing with. First, her talent, command. Just by existing in my territory, every single troop gets a 50% boost to all stats when she actually leads them in a battle. Centaurs get 100% to everything plus double recovery speed. Other troops get 50% plus 30% recovery. And during peacetime, training speed doubles. She's not a hero. She's a walking cheat code with a spear. Her base stats are roughly equal to a mythical grade soldier, which sounds just okay, until you look at her equipment. The Wind Thunder Divine set is legendary 3-star, and unlike my Centaur's gear that adds flat numbers, this thing works in percentages. The Warhorn alone gives 30% to all stats. Every other piece adds 10%. Full set bonus? Another 100% to all stats, plus 100% armor penetration, 100% energy recovery, and 100% attack speed. Total equipment multiplier, 210% to every stat, 210%, on top of base stats that are already in the 6 figures. I did the math in my head and then immediately stopped because the numbers were making me dizzy. Her skills? All Wind Thunder themed, all absolutely devastating. Wind Thunder Summon lets her call down storms and lightning to boost attacks or buff herself. Wind Thunder Heaven-Breaking Strike channels all her energy into one massive hit. Wind Thunder Piercing Lance turns her entire body into a living spear of wind and lightning. Multiple SSSS rank abilities. Quadruple S. I keep saying it because I still can't believe it's real. She's a dual-element prodigy, wind and thunder together, which apparently multiplies the destructive power beyond what either element could do alone. My regular centaurs have wind. She has wind with thunder seasoning. It's like comparing a breeze to a hurricane that also shoots lightning bolts. In summary, I said to absolutely nobody, I am about to fly. I spent the evening chatting with Lucifer, trying to dig up some backstory. She's not the most talkative person, but hey, we're at 75 affection now. Friendly territory. Progress. Then came bedtime, and here's where things got awkward. See, normally I sleep on Cellophini's back. It's warm, it's comfortable, it's become routine. But with Lucifer around and her affection score still needing work, I didn't want to risk some weird jealousy penalty. So I didn't call Cellophini, which meant my hands had nowhere to look. The point is, I couldn't sleep. I tossed and turned all night staring at my empty hands thinking about stupid affection points. By morning, my eyes looked like a road map drawn in red ink. Affection system, I grumbled, ruining perfectly good sleep schedules since forever. But all grumpiness evaporated the instant I heard what was happening outside. Roaring, howling wind, thunder, coming from the west gate. I teleported over. New 3-star town perk, very handy. And what I saw made my jaw physically disengage from my skull. 7,000 or 8,000 centaurs were lined up outside the west gate in perfect formation. But they weren't fighting. They were watching. Because Lucifer was handling the entire monster siege by herself. She stood alone in front of the army, pulled that purple-patterned black war horn from her waist, and blew. The world broke. The sky changed color. Violent winds exploded outward, shredding into countless razor-sharp wind blades that tore through the charging monsters like invisible chainsaws. Then, from a perfectly clear sky, purple lightning bolts thick as tree trunks started raining down, and these weren't random strikes. Each bolt had targeting, like guided missiles made of electricity, slamming into monsters one by one with surgical precision. Cyan wind, purple thunder. The entire battlefield turned into a light show of destruction. When the dust settled, there was nothing left but chunks and charcoal. Thousands of monsters, reduced to abstract art in seconds. My army didn't swing a single weapon. They just stood there watching Lucifer solo an entire siege like it was her morning warm-up. So that's what a quadruple S skill looks like, I whispered, my eyes still burning from the light show. Yesterday, I was worried about her affection score. Today I'm worried about whether there's anything left on this continent strong enough to even make her break a sweat. I have created a monster. A beautiful, lightning-shooting, emotionally complicated monster. And I wouldn't trade her for anything. Let me walk you through my morning siege report, because it's honestly comedy at this point. Over 300,000 monsters attacked my territory. 67,000 outstanding grade griffins. 75,000 outstanding grade stone golems. 96,000 outstanding grade wasteland werewolves. And 67,000 epic grade 8-armed snake demons. My casualties? 0. Time to clear? 37 minutes. Battle rating? A. I'm starting to feel bad for the monsters. They keep showing up to die like it's their full-time job. The system works like this. Siege monsters scale to your troop quality. Got epic troops? You get epic enemies. Got mythical troops? Mythical enemies. Somewhere out there, some insane lord with god-tier soldiers is fighting literal armies of divine monsters every morning. I can't even picture what that battlefield looks like. Probably visible from space. But here's the sneaky genius of the siege system. In the wild, high-quality monsters are rare and scattered. Most camps are full of normal and fine-grade trash, mixed with a few decent ones. The siege? Pure concentrated quality. Every corpse drops good loot. It's basically a daily delivery service of premium crafting materials straight to my front door. Anyway, time to tackle the boring but necessary stuff. Upgrading to city rank. The requirements are brutal. Every building in my territory needs to reach max level. Plus, I need proper city walls. Buildings go through 4 upgrade tiers: low, medium, high, and top, each needing more resources at higher quality. And the building count? 8 barracks, 100 residences, 8 training grounds, 8 restaurants, 8 blacksmith shops, 8 clinics, 120 spirit fields. Most lords would look at that list and cry until the trial period ends. The materials alone would take forever to collect normally, since higher grade stuff gets exponentially harder to find. Most lords don't have my talent though. Synthesize. Golden light everywhere. Mountains of low-grade stone merged into high-grade stone like magic Legos assembling themselves. Because that's literally what I do. Turn garbage into gold. The universe's most overpowered recycling program. Build city walls. Materials vanished from existence, and my sad little stone fence started growing. The golden glow spread across the entire perimeter, and that pathetic wall inflated like it was on steroids. Taller, wider, meaner. 30 seconds later, 20-meter-high walls. 7 meters thick. Watchtower battlements every 50 meters with built-in rest areas, observation posts, and arrow slits. 3-story gatehouses at all 4 cardinal entrances. Arrow towers, boulder towers, and flame towers integrated directly into the wall structure like architectural war decorations. It looked magnificent, like a proper fortress. Only problem? I had maybe 30 defensive towers total, spread across walls surrounding an 80 by 80 kilometer territory. That's like putting 3 security cameras in an entire shopping mall. Better than nothing, but definitely not enough. I'd read about veteran lords who've been developing territories for centuries. They have multiple defense layers: offensive army, moat, walls, defensive structures, garrison troops. Each system perfected to insane levels. Combined, even forces 50 times larger couldn't break through. I want that. And unlike most people who just daydream about it, I've actually got the tools to make it happen. So for the next week or so, I became the continent's most aggressive businessman. I cranked my production facilities to maximum and started flooding the trading platform with merchandise. Rare-grade weapons for every popular class: swords, shields, bows, daggers, heavy armor, 20 or 30 different products. Tier 3 potions of every flavor: healing, antidote, berserk, mana recovery, magic restoration. And my crown jewels: Tier 4 spiritual food combos, specifically designed to drain gold from rich family kids who missed mommy's cooking. The response was insane. My name popped up on the chat platform every single day. People couldn't stop talking about my stuff. The wealthy family heirs. They practically threw money at the spirit food. Oh my god, Tier 4 meals. Just like home. Open wallet, empty wallet, happy stomach. The regular players from humble backgrounds? They treated my weapons and potions like holy relics. With decent gear, they could actually survive hunting instead of getting eaten, which meant they leveled up faster and collected more resources they then sold to me. See the beautiful circle? I equipped them, they farmed for me. Everybody wins, and I get richer. It's capitalism with extra steps and centaurs. Within days, 80% of the trading platform inventory came from ordinary players I'd armed. And through strategic trading, I scooped up not just mountains of low-grade crafting materials, but also 20 to 30 defensive buildings and 7 or 8 special defense structure. Blueprints from combat class players. The highlights of my new toy collection. Hurricane Tower automatically shoots wind blades at approaching enemies, or just yeets them away with a tornado. Because sometimes the best defense is throwing your problems somewhere else. Green Vine Tower wraps enemies in poisonous vines that paralyze them and drain all their stats. Nature's way of saying, you shall not pass. Warning Tower automatically alerts when anything with hostile intent gets close. Basically, a magical motion detector with attitude. I installed everything on my walls, stepped back, and admired my growing fortress. It still wasn't anywhere close to those legendary century-old territories, but every skyscraper starts as a foundation. And mine was looking pretty solid. My defense blueprints were stacking up nicely. Golden Beard Siege Breaker Crossbow, Wind-Chasing Moon Crossbow, Thousand Machine Adaptive Crossbow. All kinds of fancy murder machines I could mass-produce and synthesize into higher grades. My walls were finally starting to look like walls instead of suggestions. Then day 21 hit, and the universe dropped a bombshell on everyone. 10 days left in the trial. And suddenly, 3 brand new missions appeared in every player's brain like a pop-up ad you can't close. Mission 1. Explore. Lords get a 500-mile radius. Combat players get 80 miles. Find stuff. Map stuff. First place gets legendary treasure chests and 1,000,000 gold. I checked my progress. 17% already done. Pretty sure nobody else was even close. Head start? Don't mind if I do. Mission 2. Kill everything. Every monster you drop earns kill points. Normal grade monster? 1 point. Fine grade? 2. Scales up from there. But the real juice comes from destroying camps. Small camp gives 100 points. Medium gives 500. And a large tribal settlement? 30,000 points. Above that are fortresses, kingdoms, and empires. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Mission 3. Final sprint. When trials end, the system evaluates everything. Lord level, territory level, building grades, farm output, troop count, troop quality, resources, kill score, exploration. All of it crunched into one big number. Top 10 get prizes. First place gets a mythical treasure chest. The entire Windwhisper Wasteland collectively lost its mind. For most players, this was the closest they'd ever get to a mythical chest in their entire lives. People were scrambling out of safe zones like someone yelled, "Free money," at a shopping mall. The only ones who didn't care were the pampered family heirs lounging around the neutral camps, too comfortable to bother competing for anything. Trust fund energy at its finest. I sat down and did the math on my chances. Mission 3? I'm already running a 3-star town with an elite army, legendary hero, and industrial economy. First place should be mine unless someone's been hiding a secret empire in their basement. Feeling pretty confident there. Mission 1. 17% explored with the biggest army and fastest troops around. Very doable. Mission 2. This is the scary one. Here's the thing. Not a single lord on the entire Windwhisper Wasteland has revealed their exclusive troop type yet. I have no idea what I'm up against. How many lords are out there? What troops did they roll? There was literally one trial session in history where someone randomly got mythical grade world-ending Titans as their starter troops. Titans. That caused a global meltdown back on Blue Star. Compared to that kind of insanity, my outstanding grade Centaur commanders, epic grade chieftains, and legendary golden behemoths suddenly feel modest. But I had a plan. If I boost my Centaur numbers and quality, the daily monster sieges will scale up too. More monsters, higher quality, more kill points. The siege system basically becomes my personal kill point ATM machine. Brilliant, if I do say so myself. So I reshuffled my entire development strategy on the spot. Step 1. Recruit and synthesize 5,000 rare-grade workers, blacksmiths, farmers, pharmacists, alchemists, chefs. Enough hands to mass-produce rare-grade weapons, Tier 3 potions, and Tier 3 spirit meals every single day. These products sell for thousands of gold each, with the rarer stuff breaking 10,000 per unit. Based on recent sales data, Daily trade income was already averaging 7 or 800,000 gold. Add monster siege loot and hunting profits, and I was clearing 1,000,000 gold per day easy. Once the spirit fields fully matured with enough farmers tending them, maybe push toward 1.5 million daily. But that was probably the ceiling. The trial zone started with 1,000,000 players, and now, maybe a few 100,000 were even still alive. Not exactly a booming consumer market. And if other lords started selling competing products, revenue drops further. So the clock was ticking. 10 days. One mythical chest. Unknown competition hiding in the shadows. Time to stop building carefully and start building fast. Time to go absolutely nuclear on my savings account. Over the past week, I'd banked about 8 million gold from hunting, sieges, trading, and treasure chests. 2 million went into territory construction. The remaining 6 million? I'd been sitting on them like a dragon guarding its hoard, waiting for exactly this moment. The final 10 days. Go time. My army before this spending spree. 12 legendary golden behemoths, 1,000 epic grade centaur chieftains, and 28,800 outstanding grade centaur commanders. Respectable. But respectable doesn't win mythical treasure chests. I took a deep breath, said goodbye to my financial security, and dumped 5,529,600 gold coins into the Lord's heart. The portal opened. Normal grade centaurs flooded out like a horse waterfall. Hundreds. Thousands. An absolute tsunami of hooves. Synthesize. Golden light. Fusion. Normal became fine. Fine became rare. Rare became outstanding. Outstanding became epic. Over and over and over until 29,800 epic grade centaur chieftains stood before me. Then I scraped together my last 48,000 gold to recruit 200 more, rounding out a clean 30,000. My bank balance? 73,642 gold coins. I went from millionaire to basically broke in 5 minutes. Worth it. 30,000 epic grade centaurs. Full hurricane and whirlwind sets. Epic grade martial arts. Wind element extreme path soldiers. Standing in perfect formation, looking like the world's most terrifying cavalry parade. And Lucifer? Oh, she was practically glowing. Lucifer is awed by your miraculous abilities. Affection 10. Current, 85. Status, passionate, 85. 5 more points and I hit. Intimate, which makes her affection basically permanent. And if I somehow hit 100, my brain started generating images that would make a monk blush. Nope. Stop. God forgive me. Buddha forgive me. Moving on, I smiled at Lucifer like a totally normal, non-sinful human being and asked, "So, would you like to lead our friends into glorious battle?" She blinked. Then her whole face lit up like Christmas morning. "You? Lord, you're really letting me command them." I gave her a cool, encouraging nod. "Go. Show the Windwhisper Wasteland what Chu family town is made of." "Thank you, my lord." She was already barking orders before I finished my sentence. The army organized in seconds, and then 30,000 pairs of hooves thundered away so fast the ground vibrated for a full minute after they disappeared. I stood there watching them go, then looked around at my territory's remaining defense force, 12 golden behemoths. Just 12 big golden cats guarding an 80-kilometer fortress. "Go patrol," I told them with a sigh. If only I had a behemoth recruitment building, I could synthesize a mythical grade army. I caught myself mid-thought and shook my head. Whoa there, getting a little ahead of myself. Stay humble. Stay low-key. Meanwhile, somewhere on the Windwhisper Wasteland, someone was not having a good day. Ing Shuyan, my instructor, Ing family eldest daughter, golden child, pampered princess of the most ancient family in the Dragon Nation, was apparently losing her mind trying to figure out how I kept beating her to every milestone. And honestly, I get it. Her family had been preparing her since she was 15. 3 solid years of Lord-class education. She came to this trial loaded with legendary hero cards, epic troop replacement cards, legendary troop summoning cards, and resource packs of every quality level. The Ying family basically gave her a starter kit worth more than most people's entire careers. She had her own exclusive troops, epic-grade Iron Eagle Elite Warriors, plus multiple epic-grade military training halls with names that sounded like they belonged in a history textbook. Guangzhong Army Hall, Great Wall Army Hall, Mount Li Army Hall. She even had 5,000 legendary grade soldiers. 5,000 legendary soldiers. And she was still behind me. Before the trial, she'd checked the registry and confirmed that Chu Feng brought exactly 0 resources from the outside, which meant everything I had, I hunted and built myself. From scratch, in less than 3 weeks. I heard she was starting to wonder if I was some kind of chosen one blessed by the continent itself. Honestly, fair question. I'd wonder too. Apparently, she was kicking herself for not bringing her family's legendary military buildings, the 100 Battle Armor-Piercing Army Hall and the Golden Fire Cavalry Hall. She almost started mentioning something even higher tier before cutting herself off with a frustrated scream. Rich people problems, I guess. Back to MY problems. I needed to fill that 80,000 population cap. So while Lucifer was out turning the wasteland into a graveyard, I sat by the Lord's heart like a gold coin vending machine, recruiting and synthesizing centaurs nonstop. Every batch of gold that came in from trades immediately became more epic-grade chieftains. 75,000 epic centaurs was the target. Enough to explore 500 miles in every direction, crush every monster camp in sight, and generate insane kill point numbers from scaled-up daily sieges. Could I guarantee first place in the kill contest? Not sure. Some unknown lord out there might have rolled something ridiculous, but this was everything I had. Every last trick, every last coin. The only thing that could accelerate things further was finding a gold mine. Even the smallest one would yield 1,000,000 coins. But that required luck, and luck is one thing you can't synthesize. Wonder if anybody out there is that lucky, I muttered, staring at my nearly empty wallet. Probably me, honestly. The universe seems to be playing favorites lately, and I am not complaining. Day 21 was chaos across the Wind Whisperer wasteland. Every player was out hunting like their lives depended on it, because they kind of did. For the common players especially, this was their shot at changing their fate. Even if they couldn't grab the mythical chest, a few decent chests in gold could make a real difference down the road. Me? I was lounging around my territory watching numbers go up. With Lucifer leading 30,000 epic centaurs on a rampage, my exploration percentage jumped from 17% to 22% in a single morning. That's 5% of a 500-mile radius in half a day. She was basically bulldozing through the wilderness like a GPS unit with anger issues. The loot kept rolling in too, 90,000 gold coins and 7 or 8 treasure chests of various quality. Most of the chests gave me the usual stuff, gold, materials, minerals. But one of them coughed up something interesting, a serpent people nest, rare-grade troop building. And the system description? Oh boy, want to experience exotic charm? Don't miss out. Build this, and half-human, half-snake women with serpent tails will be your little sweethearts. Oh, their snake tongues will leave you wanting more. I stared at the screen for a solid 10 seconds. Who writes these descriptions? The system is simultaneously a cold military database and a desperate dating app. 1 minute it's calculating kill points. The next it's trying to sell me snake girlfriends. I've given up trying to understand. Anyway, serpent people are actually a pretty powerful race. Matriarchal society. The women run everything, fight everything, rule everything. The males are basically pack mules. They're incredible in water combat, naturally produce venom, and dual-wield swords. The recruitment cost was near the top of rare-grade pricing, which tells you they're no joke. I briefly considered selling the building on the trade platform, but decided against it. Selling now would be cheap. After trials end, I could contact veteran lords and flip it for 2 or 3 times the price. Smart money waits. Besides, multi-race armies are the way to go long-term. Centaurs for land domination, snake people for water warfare. That's called strategic planning, baby. Then nightfall came, and Lucifer brought the army home late. Why are you back so late? I snapped. I'd specifically ordered everyone to return before dark. My territory was sitting there guarded by 12 golden behemoths. That's like putting a bicycle lock on Fort Knox. Lucifer gave me an awkward little smile. At least she wasn't being confrontational anymore. Progress. You should be glad we came back at all, she said. If we'd been any slower, we would have left some bodies behind. My stomach dropped. You found a monster stronghold nearby? No. Her face went dead serious. King level. Legendary grade, king level monsters. Impossible, I said immediately. The trial guide specifically states that nobody can break through to king level during the 30-day trial, and therefore no king level monsters should spawn. She looked at me with the most innocent expression I've ever seen on a warrior woman's face. I broke through. Dot, dot. I checked her stat panel. Sure enough, right there under, level, king grade, in big, shameless letters. She'd been level 9 when I summoned her. That was like a few days ago. She went from 9 to king already. King level is the tier where you can fly, absorb natural energy to supercharge attacks, and your lifespan basically multiplies. It's the dream tier that most players spend years trying to reach. I'm stuck at level 6 and might not even hit 9 before Trials Yendi. My hero did it over a long weekend. Okay, I sighed. I underestimated you. But this creates a problem. See, according to the rules, when someone in a lord's territory breaks through to king level during trials, 3 king-grade monsters automatically spawn nearby. Kill them, and you get amazing rewards. 1 treasure for troops, 1 for civilians, 1 for the lord personally. Just 1 king-level monster, I asked. 3, she said, sticking out her tongue sheepishly. A green dragon, a banyan treant, and a frogman. 3. Of course there were 3. Maximum spawns, maximum headache. Can you beat them? Her expression turned grim. The green dragon has nasty poison powers that are really hard to deal with. The treant is so massive with so many branches that you can't even get close. And the frogman lives in an underground cave system full of rivers. I could probably beat it, but actually killing it before it escapes? Nearly impossible. I frowned hard. King level wasn't just a number upgrade. It was a completely different league. These monsters could fly, channel nature's energy, and had fighting power that dwarfed anything below them. My entire army of epic centaurs would struggle against even one. But the rewards for killing all 3? Massive kill points for the competition plus rare treasures that directly boost my troops, my workers, and me personally. The prize was right there. 3 legendary monsters standing between me and a huge power spike. How do I take them down? I stared at the night sky, mind racing through every trick, every resource, every possible strategy. This was going to require something creative. Actually, this might not be impossible. The idea hit me like lightning. Lucifer looked at me curiously. What did you say, my lord? I flashed her my most mysterious smile. Tomorrow, you're going to kill all 3 of them. Trust me, it'll be easy. Really? She looked skeptical but excited. Fair enough. She'd been on this continent long enough to know that killing high-quality monsters gives massive energy feedback for leveling up. Those 3 king-grade legendaries were basically walking experience potions. Follow me. I marched her straight to the blacksmith shop, which had been upgraded to max level and was now a 7-story monster of a building stretching a kilometer long and 500 meters tall. The sound of hammers hitting metal was basically the building's heartbeat at this point. Iron Boss, bring me every golden beard siege crossbow you've made. The head blacksmith, shirtless, massive, beard like an angry bush, sprinted off screaming at his workers like a drill sergeant having a bad day. Move it, you lazy sacks. Get those crossbows out here. Number 7. I catch you slacking one more time, and you're meeting my whip. The man had a temper like a volcano with a grudge. But he also had the rare, advanced forging trait, so I let him yell at whoever he wanted. Minutes later, 2,000 to 3,000 crossbow siege engines were lined up in front of me. 7 meters long, 3 meters wide, 5 massive bows mounted on each, 3 forward, 2 reversed, sitting on 4-wheeled platforms, all gleaming with metallic golden sheen. Normal grade, but top-tier level, meaning each shot packed 150% of a normal grade soldier's maximum attack power. Here's the thing about siege weapons. They need troops to operate them, which is annoying. But the firepower is real. Low-tier crossbows hit at 50% of a normal soldier's attack. Mid-tier at 80%. High-tier at 100%. Top-tier at 150%. And the beautiful part? When you upgrade the quality, they keep that 150% multiplier but scale to the new grade's power level. See where I'm going with this? Lucifer, watch closely. Synthesize. Golden light swallowed all 2,000 to 3,000 crossbows. They melted into each other like metallic taffy being pulled by an invisible giant. When the glow faded, only 3 siege engines remained. But oh, what beauties they were. 10 meters long, 4 meters wide. Same 5-bow configuration, but completely transformed. And here's the best part. They were floating. No wheels touching the ground. These bad boys had gained the ability to fly. Siege crossbows. That fly. I am a genius. Legendary grade Golden Beard Siege crossbows. Top tier level. each shot now hitting with 150% of a legendary soldier's maximum attack. That's enough firepower to make a king-grade monster very, very nervous. I shared the stat panel with Lucifer and grinned. Well, her face went through about 6 different expressions in 2 seconds. She'd just watched thousands of crossbows vanish and 3 floating death machines appear from thin air. It's like the centaurs, she said flatly. Not exactly the reaction I was hoping for. I glared at her. Excuse me, miss, but you could show your lord some basic respect here. I told you before, small tricks. Just small tricks. She suppressed a smile, but I could see the gears turning behind those sharp eyes. Then she frowned. These aren't enough, though. Those are king-grade monsters. These crossbows, I'll send all 12 golden behemoths with you. They're legendary 9-tier. Their spiritual energy is more than enough to power these crossbows. At that output, each shot will genuinely threaten a legendary king-grade monster. She paused. Thought about it. I could try, not try. You will take them all down. And if it's not enough firepower, I'll synthesize more crossbows. Silence. My lord, that is extremely badass. Lucifer admires your domineering attitude. Affection 2. Current. 87. Status. Passionate. Nice, more affection points. Just a little more, and I won't have to sleep with my hands awkwardly by my sides anymore. Heh. I caught myself and coughed professionally. Day 22 morning. Lucifer handled the daily monster siege before I even woke up. At this point, she was basically my alarm clock that murders things, then took the entire army, all 12 behemoths, and the 3 floating death crossbows, and headed west. I rolled out of bed to find my territory guarded by 5,000 epic centaur chieftains on patrol duty. Everyone else was gone. Every single one. 300 miles west, a massive banyan tree stood in a valley, its canopy blocking out the sun. Nothing grew in its shadow. Only countless vines and thin branches dangling from above like a peaceful curtain. Peaceful, that is, until a legendary king-grade centaur woman with flying crossbows showed up to have a conversation about its continued existence. Today's agenda: tree removal, dragon extermination, and frog hunting. My heroes got this. Probably. I wasn't there for the fight, but Lucifer reported every detail afterward, and honestly, I wish I'd had popcorn. She showed up at the valley with 25,000 centaur chieftains, 12 70-meter-tall golden behemoths, each clutching a floating legendary siege crossbow like oversized toys, and one very bad attitude. The centaurs fanned out on perimeter duty while the behemoths quietly climbed nearby mountain peaks and set up their crossbows like the world's most terrifying sniper squad. Then Lucifer just walked into the sky, casually, like she was strolling up invisible stairs. That's the king-level flight ability, and apparently she'd already mastered it so well she made it look like a Sunday walk in the park. Show off. The tree noticed her immediately. A giant old man's face materialized on the trunk, wrinkled bark skin, ancient eyes, the whole creepy package. You again? Ready to fight this time? Lucifer, bless her dramatic heart, replied. This land has only one master, and that's my lord, Chen Mingdao. You're not leaving. You're becoming fertilizer. The tree got mad. The entire banyan ripped itself out of the ground with a sound like thunder, twisted its roots into 2 massive legs, shrank its canopy into a head, sprouted arms from its sides, and stood up as a 1,000-meter-tall humanoid tree monster. Vines whipping everywhere, leaves flying, the whole mountainside trembling. Lucifer swallowed hard, but she only needed to keep it busy. The Real killers were hiding on the mountain peaks. The tree, who apparently called himself the Great Marong, because even trees have egos, started swinging vine whips at Lucifer like 1,000 angry tentacles. But wind thunder dual element means she was fast. She weaved between the vines like a glowing purple cyan firefly, completely untouchable. She fired energy spears infused with wind and thunder, but the tree smashed every single one out of the air with its vines before they could land. Annoying, but expected. Insect, stop running and face the Great Marong like a real king-level warrior, the tree screamed. Classic villain mistake, getting angry and swinging harder instead of thinking smarter. Then came the music. 12 piercing shrieks cut through the air simultaneously. From every surrounding mountain peak, a 100-meter-long golden energy bolt came screaming toward the tree. The behemoths had fired their crossbows, and each arrow was flickering with golden light, so bright it looked like shooting stars launched horizontally. The tree felt them coming and panicked. Green energy shield up. Vines twisted together into 12 thick defensive columns, swinging out to intercept. It didn't matter. The bolts punched through the vine columns like they were made of wet noodles and slammed into the tree's massive body. The scream that followed could probably be heard from my territory. Golden explosions ripped across its trunk, blowing chunks of bark and wood in every direction. Bright green sap, tree blood, basically, sprayed everywhere. While the tree was howling and flailing, trying to send its vines after the crossbow positions, Lucifer saw her opening. Wind thunder piercing lance. Kill. She gathered every drop of spiritual energy in her body, summoned wind and thunder around herself, raised her divine spear, and charged. Midway through the dive, she stopped being a centaur and became a living energy lance, a blazing comet trailing purple cyan flames, and punched straight through the tree's chest. Out the other side, she blasted through a 1,000-meter tree monster like a bullet through paper and reappeared in the sky behind it, dripping with green sap. The tree screamed bloody murder. There was now a gaping, smoking hole through its torso, pouring luminous green liquid like a broken faucet. The wound was charred from wind thunder energy, preventing it from healing quickly. You dare damage my true body? Unforgivable. Die. New vines exploded from its body, thicker and angrier than before, thrashing at everything in sight. The surrounding mountains got absolutely demolished. Rocks, dirt, trees, all pulverized into flying debris. But Lucifer was already circling again, and every few moments, 12 more golden bolts came screaming in from the peaks. The pattern was set. Lucifer harasses and dodges. Crossbows blast holes. Lucifer dives in for massive damage whenever the tree flinches. Repeat until tree becomes lumber. Meanwhile, back home, I was pacing around my territory stress-eating spiritual food combos. On paper, my math said legendary crossbows powered by legendary 9-tier behemoths should be enough to hurt a legendary king-grade monster. On paper, numbers are great until reality decides to disagree. Until I got confirmation that this was actually working, my nerves were absolutely fried. The things I do for loot. Right around noon, just as I was seriously considering synthesizing another batch of crossbows and personally delivering them like a stressed-out pizza guy, the notification finally came. Your unit Lucifer has successfully killed a legendary king-grade treant. Reward: 1 legendary treasure chest. She won? Wait, 1 treasure chest? That's IT. Where's the gold? The wood materials? The tree guts? Anything. I killed a king-grade monster and got a single box. The cost-to-reward ratio was making my eye twitch. This better contain something incredible, or I swear. Open. You have opened a legendary 3-star treasure chest. Obtained. Special building. Space-time farm. The golden light faded and left behind. A stone doorway with a crappy wooden fence around it. 3 thin stone slabs leaning on each other for a gate, surrounded by a ring of sticks that looked like they were assembled by a lazy kindergartner. That's it. My heart physically hurt. In this world, fancy buildings mean high quality. Ugly buildings mean garbage. This thing looked like it was built by someone who gave up halfway through a craft project. Then I opened the stat panel and my brain exploded. Space-time farm. Legendary 3-star. Top-tier level. The abilities. First, my territory can no longer have regular spirit fields. They all move into this farm. Second, inside this farm I can build spirit fields, pastures, fisheries, orchards, basically every type of food production. Third, it's a pocket dimension I can hide, reveal, expand, or shrink at will. Fourth, and this is where I started hyperventilating. Everything inside grows 500% faster, yields 300% more, and has a 50% chance of upgrading 1 quality tier. 500% growth speed, 300% yield, 50% quality upgrade chance. I went from, this is trash, to, this is the greatest thing I've ever owned, in about 4 seconds. Here's why this is absolutely game-breaking. The biggest limitation for any lord is territory space. Normally, required buildings take up a third, spirit fields take another third, and you're left with 1 measly third for special structures, totem poles, orchards, shipyards, statues, fountains, whatever. There's never enough room. This farm just deleted the spirit field problem. All farming goes inside a pocket dimension now, freeing up that entire third of my territory. And since orchards, pastures, and fisheries also go inside, I'm basically getting 2/3 more usable space than any normal lord. Same territory, triple the building room. My face was so red from excitement, I probably looked sunburned. The textbook was right. King grade trial monsters drop treasures matching 3 categories: troops, civilians, and lord. This farm was clearly the civilian reward. An agricultural cheat code disguised as an ugly fence. My brain immediately started racing. Half-beast totem poles to buff centaurs? Lords War banner? Triple-layer walls? Trading plaza? Inner-city buildings? So many options now that I had room for all of them. But wait, there was more. I built the farm and stepped through the stone gate. A flash of light later, I was standing inside a completely separate dimension. Clean air, thick with spiritual energy and life force. No wonder things grow like crazy in here. And then I noticed the second tab on the building panel, mineral migration. I could pull resource nodes, forests, stone quarries, iron mines, gold mines, directly into the farm. Up to 8 of each type. And once inside, instead of being mined dry and disappearing forever like they do in the normal world, they become permanent daily producers. A small gold mine normally gives about 10,000 coins total before it's empty. Pull it into the farm, it produces 100 coins per day. Forever. After 100 days, everything beyond that is pure profit. Medium mines give 1,000 daily. Large ones give 10,000. Giant ones produce 100,000 coins per day. Infinite. Renewable. Resources. I was so excited I forgot how to breathe for a moment. The only catch. Expanding the farm requires spirit stones, which I didn't have yet. And activating the mineral system needed a water network built in my territory first. Minor details. Future problems. Present me was too busy doing a mental victory dance. Meanwhile, Lucifer barely took a breather before charging off with the army toward the next target. A deep canyon filled with poisonous green-black miasma so toxic that nothing lived within miles of it. Somewhere in there, a legendary king-grade green dragon was waiting. Get both remaining monsters today, I called after her. The ground shook as 30,000 hooves thundered away. Another impossible battle, another casual Tuesday for my overachieving hero. I stepped back into the farm dimension, breathed the impossibly fresh air, and started mentally redesigning my entire territory layout from scratch. The possibilities were making my head spin. By late that night, 2 more notification chimes rang in my head. Lucifer got them. All 3 king-grade monsters. In one day? That woman is an absolute machine, and I am the luckiest lord on this entire continent. 2 notifications were waiting for me from earlier while I'd been nerding out over the space-time farm. Lucifer killed a legendary king-grade green dragon. Reward, legendary 3-star treasure chest. Lucifer killed a legendary king-grade frogman. Reward, legendary 3-star treasure chest. 3 king-grade monsters. One day, all dead. That woman deserves a raise. And a vacation. And possibly a statue. Now, the textbook says trial king-grade monsters drop 3 categories of loot. 1 for troops, 1 for civilians, 1 for the lord. The farm was clearly the civilian reward. So these 2 boxes should cover troops and lord. Open both. First chest, a large gold mine. Not just any large gold mine. One containing 9.8 million gold coins. The textbook says large mines range from 1 million to 9.99 million. I basically hit the jackpot within the jackpot. A gold mine that's 98% perfect. I briefly agonized over whether to stick it in the space-time farm for 10,000 coins per day forever, or just strip mine it immediately. Trial period math won out. I needed cash now, not passive income. I'd decide in a minute. Second chest, a complete water vein system. 9 spirit springs, 9 spirit ponds, 9 spirit streams, 2 spirit rivers, 3 spirit lakes, 1 spirit sea, and 1 moat. All legendary 3-star quality. All top-tier level. 1 unified building set that can't be broken apart. The main attribute? Territory spiritual energy concentration, 500%. 500%. And the flavor text? Want to frolic in the water with beautiful companions? Build this and your dreams come true. Whoever writes these descriptions needs therapy, but also a promotion, because they're not wrong about the building being incredible. Let me explain why this is insane. Everything in a lord's territory runs on spiritual energy, training speed, recovery, crop growth, building effectiveness. Boosting the concentration by 500% is like upgrading the oxygen supply for your entire civilization. Everything works better. Everything grows faster. Everything gets stronger. The water system connects to the continent's natural ley lines, sucking in massive amounts of ambient energy. The Spirit Sea even has spatial properties. Looks like a small pond on the outside, but inside it's an actual ocean where you can build shipyards and raise aquatic troops. My prediction was perfect. Spacetime farm equals civilian reward. Check. Large gold mine equals troop reward. Gold buys troops. Check. Water vein system equals lord reward. Upgrades the territory itself. Perfect check. The textbook never lies. Everything you earn during trials, you can use during trials. The rewards chain together like puzzle pieces. Decision time on the gold mine. I looked at it, a weird squirming golden snake-shaped energy thing, and made my call. Sorry, long-term investment strategy. Mama needs soldiers now. Build. The mine materialized as a 10-meter-wide dark pit. I quickly recruited and synthesized 100 outstanding grade miners with the special mining trait and sent them underground. By my calculations, 3 days to completely drain all 9.8 million coins. Nearly 10 million gold. That's enough to recruit and synthesize a terrifying number of epic centaurs. More centaurs means harder siege battles, which means more kill points for Mission 2. Perfect timing for the final sprint. Now for the main event. I stood in front of 34 floating water buildings, tiny magical miniatures of springs bubbling, ponds sitting still, rivers flowing, all hovering in midair like the world's most beautiful aquarium display. Unlike blueprint buildings, these don't need materials. Just place them and they build themselves instantly. Build water vein system. 34 blue lights exploded outward across my entire territory. What happened next was like watching my territory get a complete makeover and fast forward. First, my city walls suddenly shifted inward, and in the space they vacated, a 100-meter-wide moat appeared, shimmering with a misty glow that told me it had spatial properties. That moat was way deeper and wider than it looked. Anything trying to swim across was in for a nasty surprise. Then, between the east and south gates, an archway opened in the wall. Water flowed through it, connecting to a spirit lake on the inside. That lake branched into spirit rivers and streams that linked to my existing wells, new spirit springs, more lakes, and even threaded into the space-time farm's pocket dimension. In seconds, the entire network snapped together like magical plumbing designed by a genius. Every water building connected to every other one, forming a complete circulatory system running through my territory and farm. And then I felt it. The air changed. The spiritual energy concentration started climbing like someone cranked a dial to maximum. Every breath felt richer. The grass looked greener. The buildings seemed to hum with new power. My territory was literally glowing with energy. 500% boost. I could practically taste it. I stood there watching my territory transform from decent fortress to enchanted wonderland with a murder army, and I couldn't stop grinning. 3 king-grade monsters died today, and in return I got a pocket dimension farm that freed up 2/3 of my territory, a gold mine worth 10 million coins, and a water system that turned my land into a spiritual energy paradise. Best day of my life. Again, I keep saying that, but the universe keeps one-upping itself. I pulled up my territory stats after building the water vein system and nearly swallowed my own tongue. All troop stats went from 30% to 150%. That's 5 times the original bonus. All farmer and craftsman effectiveness? Same jump, 30% to 150%. Training speed, energy recovery, healing? All shot from 20% to 100%. Crop growth and yield? Through the roof. Every single number on my territory panel had basically been multiplied by 5 overnight. The water vein system didn't just improve my territory, it put it on performance-enhancing drugs. My epic centaur chieftains? Their raw stats now rivaled legendary-grade troops just from standing on my property. Sure, numbers aren't everything in a real fight, but when your mid-tier soldiers have the stats of units 2 grades higher, that's not a small advantage. That's a, please file a complaint with the universe because this is unfair advantage. I spent the rest of the day exploring every corner of the water network. Turns out aquatic troops could use the waterways like an underground highway system. Instant travel to anywhere in my territory through spatially enhanced channels. If I build a shipyard, I could even sail massive warships through streams that looked 3 meters wide but were actually ocean-sized inside. Best part? Once I upgrade to city rank, the water vein system becomes the foundation for a defensive magic array, a full energy barrier protecting my entire territory. That's the shield I've been desperately needing since day one. One building system. Solved about 17 future problems simultaneously. Then the gold mine finished on day 24. 9.8 million coins dumped into my treasury like a golden avalanche. I added another million from savings and went absolutely insane on recruitment. 45,000 new epic grade Centaur chieftains. Synthesized from scratch. Combined with the existing army, I now had 75,000 epic centaurs plus 5,000 workers. 80,000 total. Population cap. Maxed. Lucifer's reaction? She gained 5 affection points instantly just from seeing the new troops. Jumped to 92. Intimate. Status. At this level she'd basically never leave me, and when I accidentally brushed against her during a briefing. No reaction. No glare. No death threats. No affection penalties. My hands finally had somewhere to go at bedtime. The drought was over. Don't judge me. From day 24 onward, daily hunting income exploded past 1 million gold. 75,000 centaurs with 5 times boosted stats were carving through the wilderness like a lawnmower through wet grass. Lucifer was leading the army further and further out every day, wiping 30 to 40 monster camps and tribes daily, plus scooping up wild treasure chests. 50 chests per day became routine. Exploration progress was skyrocketing. Then day 28 at noon. Congratulations to Rookie Lord Chu Feng for being the first to complete Mission 1. Exploration. Reward. Legendary treasure chest 1 million gold. The chat erupted like clockwork. Called it. Of course it's Chu Feng again. Wow. You're so smart for predicting the obvious. What quality do you think his exclusive troops are? Outstanding grade maybe. Get out. This chat is too intelligent for you. 1 has to be epic at minimum. Probably legendary. That's the only explanation for all these first-place finishes. Why not mythical? Silence. Then someone replied, if he had mythical troops, he'd have finished exploring way sooner. Mythical is beyond imagination. Yeah, but what if? The conversation trailed off into nervous speculation. Nobody wanted to seriously consider the possibility because it was too terrifying. Little did they know my troops were just epic grade. I was simply cheating with synthesis, a legendary hero, killer equipment, and a territory pumping out 5 times stat bonuses like a steroid factory. Million gold in hand. I was practically vibrating. City upgrade resources were almost ready. Open the chest. Golden light. Dramatic pause. Then 3 items fell out. A martial art called 1000-weight mountain suppressing scripture, a matching sword, and 111,111 gold coins. My smile died immediately. Here's the thing about legendary chests. If you get 1 item, it bumps up in quality. 2 items breaks even. 3 or more. Quality drops significantly. I got 3 things from a legendary 3-star box, which meant none of them were top shelf. The martial art was SSS rank, Earth Element, with 5 skills ranging from S to SSS. Decent? Sure. Life-changing? Not really. Not for me, anyway. I stared at the haul and sighed. Can't win the lottery every single time, I guess. Even the universe's favorite child gets socks occasionally. Still, 1 million gold from the mission reward, 100,000 from the chest, and enough resources piling up for the city upgrade. The final sprint was on, and I was leading by a margin that made other lords question their life choices. 2 days left. Time to finish this. The martial art from the chest was a bust. Let me explain why. 1000-weight mountain suppressing scripture. Sounds cool, right? Legendary grade. Earth Element. SSS rank skills. Except whoever created this thing apparently got bored halfway through. Normal martial arts have skills from D rank all the way up to SSS. You learn them in order, building up gradually. This one starts at S rank. No D, no C, no B, no A. Nothing for beginners. That's like handing someone a PhD thesis and saying, good luck, The textbook doesn't exist. Any player who learned this would be sitting around for years unable to use any skills because S-rank abilities require more energy than anyone below king level can produce. Sure, you could find other Earth skills to fill the gaps, but skill books are rare and take forever to master. It's basically a sports car with no steering wheel. Impressive on paper, useless in practice. The matching sword wasn't much better. Legendary 2-star, 70% all-stat boost, 100% armor penetration, but you literally can't equip it unless you've learned the broken martial art first. Incomplete garbage, I muttered, tossing both into storage. Looked like someone had started designing an amazing combat system and just stopped. Half a masterpiece is still half useless. Anyway, I had bigger fish to fry. I spent the rest of the day sweeping the trading platform for cheap low-grade materials, synthesizing everything into the high-grade stuff I needed, and by evening, my hands were shaking. Not from fear, from pure, undiluted excitement. Upgrade, 30,000 units each of high-grade stone, wood, and iron vanished from my warehouse. The ground trembled. Space itself stretched outward like someone was inflating reality. My territory was expanding in real time. Then the system asked me the most satisfying question I've ever heard. You have successfully advanced to city rank. Please name your city. Choose city. Naming complete. I ripped open the territory panel so fast I almost pulled a muscle. Choose city. Rare grade quality. Small city rank. Population cap, 300,000. Territory, 150 by 150 kilometers. That's almost 4 times the area of my old town. But the stats? The stats? All troop attributes, 250%. Up from 50%. Farmer effectiveness, 250%. Training speed, energy recovery, healing, all 200%. Crop growth, 200%. Yield, 300%. With the water vein system's 500% spiritual energy boost on top, my territory was basically a pressure cooker of power. Everything inside was getting stronger just by breathing the air. And the new buildings I could construct? This is where city rank gets real. Fortresses, up to 8. Heroes can carry these to distant locations and claim territory. Basically portable military bases. Defensive magic array, the energy shield I've been dying for since day one. No more sweating about overnight attacks. My entire city gets wrapped in a protective barrier. Trading plaza opens commerce with neutral races and combat class players. Real economy stuff. Lord's War banner, Lord statue, hero statues, troop statues, all giving permanent buffs. Training arena, expanded barracks, more of everything. This is what a real territory looks like. Everything before was just practice mode. The global announcement hit the chat like a bomb. Congratulations to rookie Lord Chu Feng for being the first to advance to small city. Reward, legendary 3-star treasure chest, 500 reputation. The chat went quiet for a moment. Then, so, that's what a city looks like, huh? I figured it would be him, but still, yeah. Then someone got philosophical. Generations ago, the pioneers of our dragon nation grew strong exactly like this, one step at a time. Seeing someone achieve this now, how does that make you all feel? Silence. Actual silence in the chat. For once, nobody had a sarcastic comeback. I closed the panel feeling 10 feet tall. Mission 3, final sprint. First place was basically mine. Even if another lord had randomly rolled legendary exclusive troops, my overall score, city rank, 75,000 epic troops, legendary hero, water system, space-time farm, maxed buildings, would bury them. The only remaining variable was Mission 2, kill count. 2 days left. Time to go absolutely berserk. That mythical treasure chest, I said, cracking my knuckles, is mine. Meanwhile, somewhere across the Wind Whisper wasteland, Ing Shuyan was standing in front of a pile of high-grade materials, staring at the announcement, and having what I can only describe as an existential crisis. She'd been preparing to upgrade her territory too. She had resources. She had legendary troops. She had 3 years of elite education and the backing of the most powerful family in the Dragon Nation. And she was still stuck at 2-star town. Her scream echoed across the wasteland. Why? Chu Feng, how are you getting all those materials? Sorry, instructoring. Some things just can't be taught in textbooks. Like having a synthesis talent that turns garbage into gold. Literally. Meanwhile, over in Ing Shuyan's camp, She was having a full meltdown. And honestly, I'd feel bad if she wasn't literally the eldest daughter of the most powerful family in the entire Dragon Nation. Turns out she had a secret weapon I didn't know about. Her hero, Mengwan. Not just any hero, either. This woman was an actual former lord from the Meng family, one of the clans that served the Ying family for over 10,000 years. She died on the Myriad Races continent centuries ago and somehow got resurrected as a hero card through methods so secret even thinking about them probably violates 12 family oaths. Mengwan was sharp. One look at my achievements and she'd already narrowed down the possibilities. Either my territory was surrounded by resource nodes, I'd found a special upgrade chest, I'd rolled Legendary Plus troops, or I had some rare talent like fusion, enhancement, treasure seeking, or spirit finding. Nailed it on the talent guess, lady. Gold star for you. She tried to comforting Xu Yan by saying speed doesn't matter. The Ying family has resources waiting back home that would make anything I'd accomplished look like pocket change. Apparently some elder had promised to gift Xu Yan a few mythical treasure chests as welcome home presents. Mythical chests, plural, as gifts, just casual family bonuses. Must be nice being born rich. Xu Yan perked up a little, but I could practically hear her grinding her teeth from 300 miles away. What is your secret, Chu Foam? Sorry, princess. Trade secret. Now, about MY problems. I'd cracked open my first place city advancement reward, a legendary 3-star chest, expecting something amazing. What I got was a vassal lord profession book. Sounds incredible, right? A book that gives someone the lord profession plus a starter territory? That's the rarest profession book in existence. Wars have been fought over these. Families would sell their firstborn for one. Except, that word, vassal. A vassal is basically a slave with extra steps. You surrender your freedom, your life, your everything to another person. Complete and total submission. In theory, the vassal system started as a follower arrangement with mutual protections. In practice, it devolved into absolute ownership. The master has power of life and death. Female vassals in particular. Let's just say the stories aren't pretty. Nobody with any self-respect would voluntarily become a vassal. And I'm not the kind of person who'd force someone into it. Without that, vassal, prefix, this book would start bidding wars between every major family on the planet. With it, massive discount. Frustrating. Like finding a diamond ring in a toilet. Technically valuable, contextually unfortunate. I tossed it into storage and moved on. Future problem. The last 2 days flew by. Xu Yan managed to reach 3-star town, and 2 other lords barely scraped into 1-star town at the buzzer. Nobody else came close to my city rank. Then day 30. Midnight. The clock hit 0. 3 notifications fired in my brain like fireworks. Mission 2. Kill count. 32.76495 billion points. Rank. First. Reward. Legendary 3-star chest, 3 million gold. 32 billion kill points. I don't even know how to visualize that number. That's a lot of dead monsters. Mission 3. Final sprint. Score. 57,654. Rank. First. Reward. Legendary 3-star chest, 6 million gold. First place. Obviously. City rank territory with maxed buildings, 75,000 epic troops, a legendary hero, water system, space-time farm. Who was going to beat that? Overall score. First place. Reward. 1 mythical 1-star treasure chest. There it was. The chest. The one everyone on the entire Windwhisper wasteland had been killing themselves trying to reach. The single mythical grade treasure chest. Mine. I expected trumpets. Fireworks. A global announcement making every player weep with envy. Instead, just quiet notifications in my head. The chat platform and trading platform had already silently shut down. No fanfare. No drama. Anticlimactic, but also smart. Less attention means fewer people plotting to murder me for my stuff later. Silver lining. I had 30 minutes to process my rewards before being teleported back to where it all started. I rubbed my hands together so hard they nearly caught fire, eyes burning with anticipation, muttering every prayer I knew, every god in every heaven, every Buddha on every mountain, every saint in every religion. I don't care who's listening. Please let this chest be good. Please. I will build you all statues. Big ones. With gold plating. Just give me something incredible. 30 minutes. 3 legendary chests. 1 mythical chest. Let's go. 9 colored light exploded across my entire territory like a rainbow having a seizure. When it faded, 3 items sat in front of me. A golden miniature mountain, a milky white crystal, and a package shimmering with 5 colored light. You have opened a mythical 1-star treasure chest. Obtained, Creation Divine Stone, Low/Troops, Giant High-Grade Material Resource Pack, and 1 million gold coins. Creation Divine Stone. Creation. Divine. Stone. My eyes nearly popped out of my skull. This thing is legendary among legends. The power of creation, seizing heaven and earth's own creative force. There's a story on the Myriad Races continent about a divine artifact that was upgraded using a creation stone, and its power was supposedly enough to split the sky open. I checked the stats with trembling hands. Function 1. Adds 3 extra exclusive troop building slots to my territory. 3. I went from 1 type of exclusive troop to potentially 4. Function 2. Recruitment costs cut by 50%. Half-price soldiers. Forever. Function 3. I can freely choose my troops' gender and class. Full customization. Function 4. I can embed any compatible martial art into the troop building. No more hunting for specific skill cards. Function 5. I can reset a building's attributes by dropping its quality back to normal grade. Function 6. I can invest special materials to increase a building's quality. This wasn't a treasure. This was a cheat code for army building. And then it hit me. My epic Ratman nest. I traded it for nothing. AHHH. The scream that came out of me could have shattered glass. Every centaur on patrol froze, peeked at me having a complete breakdown, and quietly melted back into the shadows. See, those attribute stones and skill cards I traded the Ratman nest for? This single stone did all of that and more. I could embed martial arts directly. I could reset attributes. I could add extra troop types. The trade that felt so clever 3 weeks ago now felt like selling a mansion to buy a bicycle. After raging for a solid minute, I forced myself to breathe. No, if I hadn't made that trade, my centaurs wouldn't have evolved. I wouldn't have dominated the trial, and I never would have earned this chest in the first place. There is no what if, logic. Calming. Slightly, I shoved the creation stone into my lord's heart, and 9 colored light erupted again. When I checked the panel afterward, I almost cried tears of joy. For exclusive troop slots. 4. Slot 1. My centaurs, now costing just 1 gold coin each. Slots 2, 3, and 4. Empty, waiting for buildings to be embedded. For exclusive troop types. Half-price recruitment. Who else has this? Nobody. That's who. Ha 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 ha. My maniacal laughter was scaring the patrols again. I dialed it back to a creepy grin instead. With 20 minutes left, I had to test this immediately. I grabbed the rare-grade Serpent People nest from storage and jammed it into the Lord's heart. Successfully embedded. You can now recruit exclusive troop, Serpent People. Use Function 5. Reset the Serpent Nest to normal grade. Reallocate to Agility type Extreme Path Evolution. Complete. Your Serpent People have been reduced to normal grade and evolved into low-tier Agility Extreme Path troops. Recruit 1 Serpent Warrior. Female. Fighter class. 1 gold coin vanished. A portal opened, and out slithered the most exotic creature I'd seen yet. Nearly 2 meters tall, wearing tattered beast hide armor that showed off a slim waist, toned arms, and long legs. Wild brown hair, cold, beautiful face, vertical snake pupil eyes, and a forked tongue that flickered in and out exactly like a real serpent. And behind her, a 1.5 meter long scaled tail growing from her tailbone, covered in armor-like scales, writhing with a life of its own. Her stats confirmed it. Agility at 9 with everything else near rock bottom. A pure speed type extreme path soldier. Exactly what I wanted. With my water vein system built, I desperately needed aquatic troops. Serpent People are famous for dominating water combat. Rivers, lakes, oceans, they fight like they were born in it. Which, technically they were. Dual-wielding swords, natural venom, insane agility? Combined with my synthesis talent, this species would become absolute terrors. I was grinning so hard my face hurt. Then the timer ran out. A golden pillar of light swallowed me whole. My entire city, buildings, walls, farms, water system, everything, shrank down into a fist-sized glowing orb and flew into my body. The territory literally became part of me. The world spun. Colors blurred. My stomach did 17 backflips. When I opened my eyes, I was back in the Magic Marshall University. Classroom 3. I looked around. We'd started with 40-something students. Now, barely 30 remained. Nearly 20 people hadn't come back. Dead. Gone forever. And from a quick scan, every missing face belonged to kids from smaller families. The ones without legendary gear, without hero cards, without resource packs. The ones who went in with nothing but courage and didn't have enough. The trial's casualty rate is brutal, I muttered quietly. Before I could think about it further, the sound of slow clapping echoed from the front podium. Someone was waiting for us. 30 days. One territory that went from empty dirt to a fortified city. For exclusive troop types. A legendary hero. A space-time farm. A water vein system. A creation divine stone. 75,000 epic centaurs. 32 billion kill points. I walked into that trial as a nobody with a synthesis talent and a dream. I walked out as the undisputed first-place finisher with a pocket dimension city living inside my chest. Not bad for a month's work. Welcome back, students. Teacher Ing Shuiwei was standing at the podium looking gorgeous, as always in her professional outfit, scanning the room like a hawk shopping for talent. I could practically see the gears turning behind those big, sparkly eyes. She was sizing up everyone's power level in seconds. What she was really looking for. Lords. Lord-class players are the golden geese that every major family wants to recruit. And I could tell the exact moment she spotted the 3 suspects in the room, because her face went through hope, excitement, and then visible disappointment. A beanpole covered in acne, a greasy overweight guy, and me, the kid who spent his entire school career looking like a strong breeze might kill him. These are the lords. I could almost hear her brain screaming. Sorry to disappoint, teach. She composed herself and gave us the standard speech. 18 classmates didn't make it back. Dead. Gone. The Myriad Races continent doesn't do second chances. Out of 40-something students, we were down to about 30. Heavy stuff. But also reality. I filed it away and kept my poker face. Congratulations on graduating. Please come register your profession information and collect the Academy's support package. Of course, if you'd rather not, you're free to leave. What happened next was predictable and hilarious. Every single rich family kid stampeded for the door like the building was on fire. Register? So the Ing family can poach more recruits? Pass. Leaking my profession info? No thanks. Later. Teach. They scattered like cockroaches when the lights come on. Ing Shuiwei rolled her eyes so hard I thought they'd get stuck. She knew exactly what they were doing, blocking the Ing family from expanding their talent pool. Little brats got brave after surviving one trial. That left maybe 4 or 5 commoner students lining up to register. The greasy lord candidate had already bolted, and the beanpole, Zhang Qishan, a guy I have history with and none of it good, was sitting there looking constipated with indecision. My turn. I walked up to the podium and gave teacher Ing a deep, sincere bow. This woman had looked after me for years. When I was sick, and I was always sick, she'd spend her own money buying me medicine. She didn't have to. Nobody asked her to. She just did it. Teacher, thank you for everything you've done for me all these years. I will never forget your kindness. I pulled out the 1,000-weight mountain-suppressing sword from my territory storage, the epic-grade weapon from that disappointing chest, and held it out to her. You spent money on my medicine. Please accept this as a small token of my gratitude. Epic-grade equipment. A girl named Lu Fei nearly fell out of her chair. Oh my God, are you that Chu Feng? The one from? My heart skipped. Someone else had been on the Wind Whisper wasteland? What are the odds? I kept my face perfectly innocent. What do you mean? Could you explain? You're really not him? I ignored the question and pushed the sword closer to Ing Shuiwei. Teacher, please don't refuse. Those medicines weren't cheap. She was about to investigate Lu Fei's outburst, but my words pulled her back. She pushed the sword away with a warm smile. That was nothing. You just became a professional. Focus on developing your territory. Then the room exploded. Wait. Chu Feng, you got the lord profession? That's impossible. Gasps everywhere. The former sickly kid who could barely walk upstairs without wheezing, a lord? Their brains were short-circuiting. Zhang Qishan couldn't stand it. He marched up to the podium with his chest puffed out like a pigeon with an attitude problem. Oomph. What's the big deal? I got the Lord profession too. He threw me a disdainful side-eye, then looked away like I wasn't worth his attention and started scribbling his info in the registry. Classic Chishan. We've had beef since forever, and apparently surviving a death trial didn't mature him one bit. Ing Shuiwa smoothed things over like the professional she is. You've all done wonderfully. Lords are powerful, but combat professionals who train hard enough can dominate the continent too. Now everyone finish registering and collect your support packages. The Academy will send representatives in the next few days, so stay put and don't go back to the Myriad Races continent yet. Everyone filed out. Soon it was just me and Teacher Ing. Teacher. She held up her hand. Everyone's gone. Put that sword away. And I'm guessing you're not planning to accept the Ing family's recruitment offer. She studied me with those sharp eyes. I could tell she noticed the change. I was standing tall, face healthy and flushed with color, body strong and straight. The Myriad Races continent had completely cured the illness that had plagued me my entire life. The boy who used to look like death warmed over was gone. She tried one more time. Chu Feng, are you sure? With your Lord profession, if you join the Ing family, you'd immediately receive an outstanding grade troop building, tens of millions in gold, and resources beyond. Teacher. I shook my head gently, placed the sword on her desk, and spoke from the heart. I don't want to be controlled. I don't want anyone telling me how to build my territory. I'm sorry, but I hope we'll find chances to work together on the Myriad Races continent someday. One more bow. Then I turned and walked out. Ancestor Dragon City, the capital of the Dragon Nation, strongest country on Blue Star. Population, nearly 100 million. Families big and small packed into every corner, all jostling for power and position. I don't remember much about being little. My earliest memories are of an orphanage in the city. At 5, I started school. 3 years of elementary learning to read. 3 years of middle school. 3 years of high school. 4 years of university, studying Myriad Races continent knowledge. The whole time, I bounced between school dorms and hospital beds. No family. No home. Just textbooks and 4 drips. I stood at the gates of the Magic Martial Academy, looking out at the towering skyscrapers and the rivers of people flowing through the streets. Everyone rushing somewhere. Everyone belonging to something. And for one quiet moment, I felt completely alone. Like this massive planet somehow didn't have room for one skinny orphan with a pocket dimension city living inside his chest. Then I took a breath, straightened my back, and smiled. Time to finally build a home. A real one. I'd conquered a continent's worth of monsters, outsmarted the richest families in the world, built an army of 75,000, tamed a legendary hero with emotional issues, and earned the only mythical treasure chest in the entire trial. Finding an apartment in the capital couldn't be that hard, right? Since the Myriad Races continent fused with Blue Star, everything from that world, spirit food, weapons, skill books, can be traded at special exchange halls in the real world. Players can hop between worlds anytime for 100 gold coins per trip. After 30 days of non-stop monster slaughter, I was honestly sick of looking at weird alien creatures, so the idea of having an actual home sounded pretty appealing. Plus, there's a strict government rule. No using professional powers inside cities. So Blue Star is basically a safe zone where even the strongest warrior has to behave like a normal person. Nice. I asked some random pedestrians for directions to the nearest professional trading hall, walked in, and immediately remembered why I hate rich people. The building was ridiculously fancy. Crystal chandeliers, marble everything, staff in designer uniforms. And the second I stepped through the door looking like a lost puppy in yesterday's clothes, the snickering started from every direction. Then I pulled items directly out of my territory. No storage equipment animation, no fancy gesture, just poof stuff appears, and suddenly the laughter turned into shocked whispers. Wait, that scrub is a lord? He just pulled items straight from his body. Lucky little punk. Yeah, laugh at that. I dumped a pile of rare-grade summoning cards, tier 3 weapons, and spirit food combos on the counter. The receptionist was a cute girl, big eyes, sharp jawline, curves that her professional outfit was working overtime to contain. Probably an underage college student doing part-time work. She started batting her eyelashes at me the moment she realized I was a lord. I was not in the mood. Hurry up. I'm busy. Why, yes, sir. 1 moment, please. 10 minutes later, I walked out with 50 million Dragon Nation currency loaded onto my ID card. 50 million. I stood on the sidewalk staring at that number for a solid 30 seconds. All those years lying in hospital beds, barely able to afford pain medicine, eating cafeteria slop, wearing donated clothes. If I'd had even a fraction of this money back then, I shoved the thought down before it could ruin my day. No point dwelling on it. Found a real estate office, bought an apartment near the academy, 3 bedrooms, 2 living rooms, kitchen, bathroom, fully furnished. Spent almost every last coin on it because capital city prices are absolutely criminal. If the academy had been in the city center instead of the edge, they wouldn't have let me through the front door of the real estate office. Moved in that night, burned through my remaining cash buying furniture and basics, and collapsed face first onto my new bed. My bed. In my apartment. First time in my entire life I had a place that was actually mine. I slept like the dead. Then the doorbell tried to murder my sleep at some ungodly hour. MRGH. Go away. 5 more minutes. The ringing didn't stop. I dragged myself to the door with murder in my eyes and swung it open. Teacher? How do you even know where I live? I literally moved in yesterday. Ing Shuiwe stood there looking casually perfect, not a hair out of place, smiling like she owned the place. Oh, this whole neighborhood, apartments, shops, everything, belongs to the Ying family. And guess who manages this area? She pointed at herself with a shrug. Of course it does. I can't even buy groceries without accidentally giving money to the Ying family. They probably own the oxygen around here too. Can I come in? Yes. Please. Sorry about the mess. I scrambled to make tea, then smacked my forehead, pulled an epic grade spirit tea from my territory instead, brewed it properly, and handed it over. Teacher, please. She took one sip and her eyebrows rose. Epic grade spirit tea? Quite generous. Almost on par with what our core family members drink. I tried very hard not to twitch. Almost on par with core members? Lady, I have a synthesis talent, a pocket dimension city, and 75,000 troops, and I'm barely matching your family's tea budget? How rich are these people? Then again, big family, big resources. But also big family, big drama. Nothing comes free in those ancient clans. Teacher, what brings you here? Her face went through about 17 emotions in 5 seconds. Anger. Resignation. More anger. A flash of killing intent that made my spine tingle. Then, embarrassment. And finally, steel-hard determination. Chew foam. I need your help. She looked me dead in the eyes. Whatever she was about to ask, she'd clearly been agonizing over it. Teacher, if it's something I can do, I'll absolutely say yes. I meant it. 4 years of university. This woman shielded me from bullies, bought me pain medication out of her own pocket, and treated me like a human being when most people treated me like a charity case. I owed her. Within reason, of course. I wasn't about to throw my life away on some suicide mission. Do you know what aptitude I got during my own trial? Random question. But the sadness in her eyes told me this was the core of everything. At least rare grade, I guess carefully. She was from the Ying family, after all. Huh. She laughed, but there was zero humor in it. Fine grade. Barely. The absolute bottom of fine grade. My stomach dropped. For a member of the Ying family, that's not just bad. It's humiliating. Once my strength hit its ceiling and couldn't grow anymore, they pulled me back and stuck me in teaching, contributing residual value to the family. That's how they phrased it. Her knuckles were white around the teacup. That's not what I want. The myriad races continent is full of miracles. There has to be a way to change one's aptitude. I will find it. I refuse to spend the rest of my life teaching subjects I don't care about, watching other people live the adventure I was supposed to have. The room went quiet. I looked at this woman, brilliant, kind, capable, trapped by genetic bad luck in a family where mediocrity equals exile. Teacher, how exactly can I help with that? There's a rule in the Ying family, she said, and her cheeks went pink. If a clan member finds a spouse with extraordinary potential, they're exempt from all family assignments. She said, spouse. She said spouse. My brain blue-screened for a solid 3 seconds. Let me paint this picture. Ing Shuiwe is technically 56 years old. 56. But king-level spiritual energy keeps her body frozen in time. So she looks like she's in her mid-20s, gorgeous, poised, and currently sitting in my apartment asking her 18-year-old former student to play boyfriend. This is not how I expected my first morning as a homeowner to go. All you'd need to do is come to the Ing estate with me and confirm you're a Lord-class professional. That alone would get me out of my current situation. In return, I'll give you half of everything I earn on the Myriad Races continent. We can even sign a contract. Teacher, this is not appropriate. My mouth said, not appropriate, while my brain was doing backflips in 17 different directions. Part of me was panicking. Part of me was doing math on that revenue-sharing deal. And a very small, very stupid part of me was thinking, she is really pretty though, and oh, bad brain. She's your teacher. For years of mentorship, medicine money, protection from bullies. You do not think about your teacher like, what? You don't want to help me? Her expression hardened for a split second before she caught herself. Or, would you rather make it real? If that's what it takes to free me from the family, I could accept that. Though you'd have to put in some effort. I'm not the type who likes being controlled. I couldn't look her in the eyes. I felt like she could read every filthy thought bouncing around inside my skull. But here's the thing. Beneath the awkwardness, my survival instincts were screaming. This wasn't just embarrassing. This was dangerous. The Ing family is the most powerful clan on Blue Star. The first family to contact the Myriad Races continent. Their methods are beyond anything normal people can imagine. If I waltzed in there pretending to be their daughter's catch and they found out it was fake, I wouldn't just be in trouble. I'd be erased. And then there's my real secret. My synthesis talent. If anyone discovered what I could do, my future would be very short and very miserable. I'd end up locked in some ancient clan elder's basement, spending eternity synthesizing gear like a human factory. This isn't paranoia. People with top-tier talents and lord professions have been disappearing for years. They finish their trials, step back into the real world, and poof, gone. No trace. No body. Just vanished. Everyone knows it happens. Nobody talks about it. So trusting Ing Shuiwe with access to my territory, letting her see my abilities up close. Even with our history, the stakes were too high. One whisper to the Ing family about what I can do, and she could probably trade that information for more than any aptitude upgrade. Sorry, teacher. Gratitude has limits, and those limits are not getting kidnapped and enslaved by ancient immortals. Teacher, respecting one's mentor is a core value I hold dear. I can't deceive your family like that. Translation, and oh, besides, the Ing family is unfathomably powerful. If they discover the truth, I don't know what happens to you, but I definitely don't survive. Her face fell. She'd expected this. I could tell, but hearing the actual rejection still stung. For a brief flash, I caught something dangerous in her eyes. Resentment. The kind that comes from helping someone for years and getting turned down when you finally need something back. She buried it quickly. Years of teaching discipline kicking in. Good. Because anger doesn't solve problems, and I was not about to let guilt override common sense. Then she played her ace. What if we made it real? As a member of the Ing family, even with my low aptitude, a marriage to a lord-class professional would come with a substantial dowry. Combined with what my parents would contribute, she paused for effect. Over 10 billion gold coins. 10 billion. My heart physically jolted. That number echoed in my skull like a cathedral bell. 10 billion. 10 billion. That's more money than I'd earn in 100 lifetimes of grinding monsters. But the alarm bells were louder. This was a trap. Not necessarily an intentional one. She might genuinely want freedom, but the situation was a trap. If I said no to 10 billion gold coins in marriage dowry, any reasonable person would conclude I was hiding something worth more than 10 billion. And Ing Shuiwe was smart enough to figure that out. She'd start wondering. Then she'd start talking. And once the big families caught wind that some nobody rookie lord turned down a fortune from the Ing family, the hunting parties would come knocking. I was cornered. Saying yes was dangerous. Saying no was dangerous. I needed a third option. Then I remembered the item sitting uselessly in my storage. The Vassal Lord Profession book. If Ing Shuiwe became my vassal, she'd gain the lord profession she so desperately wanted. She'd get her own territory. She'd have power. Real. Tangible. Nobody tells me what to do. Power. And as her master, her territory would count as an extension of mine. She'd be like a regional manager with enough authority to feel free, but bound to me tightly enough that betrayal was impossible. It was ruthless. It was calculating. It was turning my teacher into a contractual subordinate. and she'd walked right into it by backing me into a corner. Don't blame me, I thought. You showed up at my door. You pushed me to the wall. I'm just playing the hand you dealt. I locked eyes with her, every trace of the nervous student gone. Are you truly willing to do this? Trade your entire life for freedom? Even if it means being with someone like me, a nobody kid with nothing? She didn't hesitate. Once you've tasted real power, everything else is worth sacrificing. As for you being young, she shrugged. Professionals live for centuries. 1,000-year-old clan elders marrying teenagers is completely normal in the Ying family. Even marrying different species is common. Well, that's both reassuring and deeply disturbing at the same time. The game was set. She wanted freedom. I needed security. And in my back pocket sat a profession book that could give us both what we wanted on MY terms. Sorry, teacher. Class is over. And from now on, I'm the one giving the lessons. I never imagined my first week as a homeowner would involve getting fake engaged to my 56-year-old teacher. Life comes at you fast. Here's how it went down. I couldn't say yes to her original plan because spending time together would inevitably expose my synthesis talent. I couldn't say a hard no because a scorned woman from the most powerful family on the planet is basically a ticking nuclear bomb. And I couldn't use the vassal book on her because no sane person would agree to become someone's contractual slave. So we did what any two desperate people cornered by circumstances would do. We lawyered up. Against each other. Together. The contract we hammered out was a masterpiece of mutual paranoia. Clauses for dealing with the Ying family. Clauses for dividing resources. Clauses protecting personal secrets. Clauses about clauses. We basically wrote a prenup, a business agreement, and a spy thriller screenplay all in one document. We both pressed bloody thumbprints onto the magical contract paper, watched it dissolve into smoke, binding and unbreakable, and finally exhaled. Bottom line, I get the massive dowry. She gets freedom from the Ying family's grip. We both pretend to be a happy couple long enough for it to work. Simple plan. Absolutely nothing could go wrong. You sure you can handle things on your end alone? I asked, walking her to the door. Please. All I need is your confirmation as a Lord-class professional. I'll tell the family we're exploring the myriad races continent together to build our relationship. That excuse buys me freedom from every assignment they've got lined up. She seemed genuinely happy. First real smile I'd ever seen on her face. Someone from the family might come verify things. Or they might just call. Or they might not care at all. Just play it by ear. Got it. Well then. Goodbye. Goodbye. I watched her walk away and couldn't help rubbing my chin. Age aside, that face and figure really are something. All those silly fantasies from school days actually came true. What kind of animal am I becoming? What I didn't know was that around the corner, she was muttering. Stupid brat thinks the Ying dowry comes free. Those greedy little eyes and disgusting thoughts. I'm going to beat the respect back into him sooner or later. HMPH. 3 days later, she showed up with a moving crew. An entire squad of people hauling her personal belongings into MY apartment. Clothes, furniture, decorations. She was moving in. While I stood there with my jaw on the floor, some 17-year-old girl from the group looked me up and down. So you're Ninth Andy's boyfriend? You look really young. The condescension in her voice made me want to flick her forehead into next week. But I remembered the contract, plastered on my best lovesick puppy smile, and cooed. That's me. Age means nothing when you're a professional. Lifespans are practically infinite. Your Ninth Andy looks just as young and beautiful as you to me. Just a gorgeous maiden. BLEHHH. I'm gonna puke. Run. The cheese is toxic. They scrambled out of the apartment like I'd deployed biological weapons. The second the door closed, Ing Shuyue and I looked at each other, then simultaneously doubled over and started dry heaving. The cringe nearly killed us both. Then she punched me. Ow. That hurts. Hey, you're actually hitting me. Take that for being disgusting. And that for being greasy. And, stop. I'm calling the police. Domestic violence. Help. She's trying to murder her husband. From downstairs, an old man's voice floated up. Young people these days. Quite creative, aren't they? Grandpa Wong, you've got experience. Is that roleplay? Shoo, kid. You're too young for this conversation. Ha ha ha. The laughter from the neighbors finally made her stop. I sat on the floor, nose bleeding, face swollen, wheezing like I'd lost a boxing match against a professional. This woman hits like a truck. King-level strength is no joke even when suppressed to civilian levels. She cracked her knuckles menacingly. I put my hands up in surrender. Let's talk this out. We're all adults here. Ha ha ha. After I recovered from my near-death-by-teacher experience, it was time for serious business. The Myriad Races continent has two major zones. The first is the civilized part, governed by rules set by powerful, peace-loving races, full of commerce, trade, and opportunity. The second is the Myriad Races battlefield. No rules, pure survival of the fittest, constant warfare between every species, including members of the same race, fighting each other. Of course, civilized and chaotic are relative. One side just has slightly fewer murders per day. Per our contract, once we arrived on the continent, Ing Shuiwe would go her own way to find her own opportunities. She'd only come back when it was time to return to Blue Star. Clean arrangement. So I held her hand, for appearance purposes only, and we teleported together to the Myriad Races battlefield. I found a nice valley, deployed my city, and immediately regretted letting her set foot inside. This spiritual energy concentration is incredible, for it is 6 times normal for this level. Strange auras. Not troops, that's a hero. King-level hero at that. Epic grade troop signatures. The water system feels unusual. Did you build a... She was sniffing out my secrets like a bloodhound at an airport. Eyes closed, muttering analysis non-stop, dissecting my territory's secrets through air density and energy signatures alone. I grabbed her arm and shook her like a rag doll. Are you part dog? How can you smell all that? I'd hidden Lucifer, the 75,000 epic centaurs, and all 12 golden behemoths inside the barracks specifically to avoid this. But no. Madam Sherlock Holmes over here was reading my territory like an open book through Sen alone. Living with this woman was going to be a constant counterintelligence operation. What have I gotten myself into? After watching Ing Shuiwe stomp off into the wilderness looking like an angry cat in a snowstorm, I checked the regional chat and discovered we'd landed in a place called the Endless Snow Plains. Population, 1.6 billion professionals. 1.6 billion. How big is this place? The trial zone had 1 million people and felt crowded. This was a whole different universe. But I had bigger things to think about. Specifically, the shiny golden card in my hand. See, here's what happened with the dowry situation. The Ing family has this tradition. When a woman wants to marry outside the clan, the family gives her a legendary treasure to exchange with her partner. If the guy can match it with something of equal value, relationship approved. If he can't, well, congratulations, you've just committed fraud against the most powerful family on the planet. Enjoy your extremely short remaining lifespan. When Ing Shuiwe handed me a legendary 3-star hero summoning card, I was ecstatic. Free legendary hero. Christmas came early. Then she explained the exchange rule, and my face collapsed like a sandcastle in a tsunami. I had to cough up my 1,000-weight mountain-suppressing scripture and the matching sword just to balance the trade. The incomplete martial art and the sword you can't equip without it. Combined, they roughly match the hero card's value. So my free gift turned into a swap. The white whale of freebies slipped right through my fingers. And that supposed 100 billion gold dowry? Haven't seen a single coin of it yet, while Madame Freedom was already skipping through the snow plains living her best life. Something felt off about this whole arrangement, but the contract was signed and sealed. Nothing to do but move forward. Summon. The card erupted with golden light, forming a massive portal. A silhouette appeared inside. Female, obviously. The universe apparently decided my hero roster needs to be exclusively women. Not complaining, just observing. She stepped through, and my brain ceased all higher functions. Black hair like a waterfall of silk, pinned up with a glowing golden hairpin. Wearing a sheer yellow outfit that covered exactly the legal minimum. Chest and hips wrapped in gossamer fabric that had just enough to make everything else more distracting. Smooth arms completely bare. Tiny waist exposed. Long, sculpted legs on full display with 3 golden ankle rings on each shin that chimed with every step, like she had her own background music. Big doe eyes, high nose, small lips forming a face that could literally end wars. A green jade pendant hanging from a swan-like neck. And those eyes, deep as the void. The kind you could stare into and forget your own name. In 18 years of life, I'd had exactly 2 experiences with female physical contact. Silfini, not human, and Ing Shuiwe's fists, not romantic. I was not prepared for this level of visual assault. My mouth went dry. My palms went wet. My brain went offline. Calm down, I told myself. Affection points. Slow and steady. Don't be creepy. I opened her stat panel while she stood there with her eyes closed, receiving the continent's welcome package. Boolean. Race, human. Quality, legendary 3-star. Job, hero. Talent, planting and breeding. Level 9. Affection, 50. Neutral. Her martial art was the mythical grade, Golden Phoenix Nirvana scripture. Her weapon was the Golden Phoenix Imperial Seal, and her skills. Golden Phoenix Nirvana, SSSS when near death. She resurrects at full power. 3-day cooldown. She literally can't stay dead. Golden Phoenix Decree, SSSS. She can issue imperial commands to farmland, fisheries, and resource nodes, adding special bonuses like faster growth and bigger harvests. She talks to dirt, and it obeys. Golden Phoenix Command, SSSS temporarily boosts all farmer stats and morale through sheer authority. Words become law. Phoenix Cry Inspiration, SSS puts farmers into an excited frenzy state, dramatically increasing work efficiency. Agricultural steroids through motivational screaming. Her talent? When she's present, all resource production and crop growth gets 50%. When she personally leads farmers, they get 100% to all stats and recovery. Off-duty training speed doubles. Combined with her Golden Phoenix Seal boosting everything by another 50%, this is the ultimate support character. With her running my farms, blacksmith shops, clinics, restaurants, fisheries, resource nodes, output would multiply. Then I noticed something that made me do a double take. Not a single attack skill. 0. Nothing. She couldn't fight a stuffed animal. She was history's first recorded pure administrative hero. A powerhouse of productivity wrapped in a package that looked like a goddess descended from heaven to do paperwork. Her flavor text confirmed it. A powerful noblewoman from a game world. Her noble status gave her protection, but also imprisoned her behind palace walls. Imprisoned noblewoman seeking freedom. Where have I heard that before? I'm apparently a magnet for beautiful women trapped by their circumstances. Someone should study this phenomenon. So you're my lord? She said, opening those devastating eyes and looking me up and down. You seem rather weak. Oh, she did not just. I snapped my fingers. The ground shook. Barracks doors flew open, and 75,000 epic-grade centaur chieftains thundered out in perfect formation, filling every open space in the city with rows upon rows of armored, weapon-wielding, wind-element death machines. The look on her face was priceless. Boolean witnesses your mighty army. Her heart fills with admiration. Affection 20. Current, 70. Status, friendly. Your strength gives Boolean deep feelings of security. Affection 10. Current, 80. Status, passionate. 0 to 80 in one flex. From, you seem weak, to, passionate, in under 10 seconds. Lucifer had taken days to reach this level. Boolean just needed one good military parade. I guess when you're a sheltered noblewoman with 0 combat abilities, seeing 75,000 elite soldiers sworn to protect you hits different. 2 legendary heroes now. 1 war goddess who shoots lightning. 1 divine administrator who makes crops grow by yelling at them. Between them, they covered literally every need a lord could have, destruction and production. I looked at my growing roster of powerful, beautiful, emotionally complicated women and had one thought. My life has become the weirdest, most dangerous harem management simulator in history. And I'm winning. Boolean's affection skyrocketed so fast, it gave me whiplash. Meanwhile, Lucifer had spent her first meeting actively trying to hate me. The difference? Personality. Lucifer is a freedom-loving warrior who respects power she can understand. Martial strength, tactical genius, mysterious abilities. She didn't warm up until she saw me do impossible things with synthesis. Boolean? She's a sheltered noblewoman, probably some empress or queen in her original game world, who spent her whole life behind palace walls. No combat skills whatsoever. She's basically a royal administrator in a negligee. What does someone like that want? Protection. Show her a big scary army and she melts like butter on a hot pan. 2 heroes, 2 completely different instruction manuals. Being a lord is basically a dating sim with military strategy elements. Anyway, time to max out my army. Small city population cap, 300,000. I already had 80,000. That left 240,000 slots to fill. I had over 10 million gold coins and 2 unopened legendary chests from the trial rewards. The endless snow plains was crawling with 1.6 billion professionals. This was not the kiddie pool anymore. I needed soldiers. Lots of them. Now, spend 5.4 million gold. Summon centaurs. Female. Half warriors, half rangers. The Lord's heart exploded with golden light. A portal opened. Normal grade centaurs started flooding out like a horse-shaped assembly line. I caught Bulienshire staring at the stream of weaklings with growing disgust. Her face was doing that. Why am I looking at garbage? Expression. Affection drop incoming in 3, 2. Lucifer. Bu Lienshire. Watch this. Both turned to look. I activated synthesis. Golden light erupted from my body, washed over the entire herd of normal-grade centaurs, and the fusion chain began. Normal merged into fine, fine into rare, rare into outstanding, outstanding into epic. Hundreds of thousands of weak ponies compressed into a sea of gleaming, armored, epic-grade chieftains. Bulienshire's jaw dropped so hard I thought it might detach. How? How did you? I channeled every ounce of cool guy energy I had. That's nothing. If I had enough gold, I could fill this entire territory with legendary and mythical troops. Money is the only thing holding me back. Bulienshire is deeply impressed by your confident declaration and miraculous ability. Affection 10. Current, 90. Status, intimate, 90. From one demonstration. This woman is easy to please. But the real bombshell was the next notification. Lucifer has witnessed your power once again. Her soul has been profoundly shaken. She has decided to follow you unto death. Affection, 100. She will never betray you. Congratulations. You have obtained your first completely loyal hero, 100 points. Max affection. Lucifer had hit the ceiling. Permanently locked in. Couldn't betray me even if she wanted to. Total, absolute, unshakable loyalty. I almost shed a tear. My emotionally complicated horsewoman finally loved me unconditionally. It only took. Checks notes. An army of 120,000 epic centaurs and several acts of magical impossibility. Now I had an army of 120,000 epic-grade centaur chieftains. A medium-sized legion. Time to hand out promotions. Lucifer, she snapped to attention, eyes burning with devotion. From today, you are appointed Grand General of my territory. You command the entire Centaur Legion. Assign officers and ranks however you see fit. Yes, my lord. I will give my life 1,000 times over to repay your grace. Go. Scout the surrounding terrain, map everything, find resource nodes, and hunt monsters. At once, the thunder of hooves shook the earth as 120,000 centaurs charged out into the snow plains. Among them now was a new addition, female centaur heavy warriors. Same beautiful builds as the rangers, but taller, more muscular, decked out in full heavy armor. Thanks to the creation stone letting me customize gender and class, I could fine-tune my army composition however I wanted. Then came the sound I wasn't prepared for. My lord, that voice. Sweet as honey, fragile as glass, loaded with enough emotional manipulation to bring down a government. I turned around. Bulienshire was standing there looking like a kicked puppy in a Victoria's Secret catalog. Lower lip trembling. Giant eyes glistening with moisture. The full weaponized sad girl package. Lucifer gets to be Grand General. And I don't even have a title. Every word dripped with theatrical heartbreak. If this woman had combat skills, she wouldn't need them. She could defeat enemies through guilt alone. Who could forget about you? I said, laying it on thick. As my first administrative hero, you're the most important person in this entire territory. Her eyes sparkled. Hook set. From today, you are appointed Grand Steward. You have full authority over every farmer, craftsman, and civilian in the territory. Thank you, my lord. I won't let you down. Bulienshire deeply appreciates your trust. Affection 5. Current, 95. Status, intimate, 95. 5 more points, and she'd hit the cap too. At this rate, I'd have 2 permanently maxed heroes by next week. She scurried away with her cheeks burning red, ankle rings jingling, looking like a flustered princess who just got promoted to CEO. I watched her go and couldn't help grinning. Being a lord was basically the best job in the universe. I got to build empires, command armies, and give titles to beautiful women who then devoted themselves entirely to making my territory prosper. The system was clean and simple. Military heroes handle all the fighting, hunting, wars, defense. Administrative heroes handle everything else: farming, production, resource management. Two branches, clearly divided, working in perfect harmony. Lucifer would conquer the world for me. Bullionshire would make sure the world was worth conquering. And I would sit in the middle, synthesizing things, handing out promotions, and pretending this was all completely normal. Life is good. Quick rundown on my new leadership structure before we get to the drama. Military ranks from top to bottom: Grand General, General, Commander, Captain. Administrative ranks: Grand Steward, Steward, Inner Secretary, Outer Secretary. These titles were basically just fancy name tags at this point, since my city was too low level for the ranks to carry real mechanical bonuses. But hey, Lucifer got to be called Grand General, and Bullionshire got Grand Steward, and that was enough to keep both of them happy and working at maximum effort. Now, treasure chest time. My last 2 legendary 3-star chests from the trial rewards. These were probably the last legendary chests I'd see for a long while. During trials, they practically rained from the sky. Out here in the real world, you'd have to kill legendary monsters or clear entire strongholds to get one. Completely different difficulty level. Open both. First chest, 1 item. Starweave Shipyard. Legendary 3-star. Top tier level. This wasn't just any shipyard. It built space attribute warships. Starweave Void Carriers, Starweave Void Battleships, Starweave Void Stealth Ships. Ships that could fly through the sky and sail through oceans because they literally bent space around themselves. And when attacking, they could pull down stellar energy as weapons. Sky sailing, ocean diving, star-powered death machines. I just got a sci-fi fleet factory from a fantasy treasure chest. This world makes no sense, and I love it. The catch? Building materials included stuff like Starweave Crystals, Void Stone, Realmbridge Wood, and Skydark Stone, none of which I had. Not even a little. But the potential was right there, especially since I'd just recruited serpent people for aquatic warfare. Army on the sea, fleet in the sky, centaurs on the ground. Total coverage. I built the shipyard immediately inside my spirit lake, which had spatial properties making it way bigger inside than outside. 10,000 miles across internally. The shipyard materialized instantly. Workstations, energy furnaces, reactors, factory halls, everything. A gorgeous military-industrial complex floating on a magical lake. I stared at it and had a vision of my future. Fleets of void warships streaking across the sky while my army conquered everything below. Power in one hand, beautiful women on the other. Not a dream, a plan. Second chest, also 1 item. Stonewing Beast Secret Realm Pass. A ticket into a special pocket dimension filled with legendary 3-star Stonewing beasts. 1 month to hunt inside. And here's the juicy part. These beasts could drop a Stonewing Beast Temple, which is a troop building. Stonewing beasts are light element creatures, created by an actual god of light who spent his divine power crafting increasingly powerful light attribute races. His masterpiece was angels, mythical grade. Stonewing beasts were his second best work, legendary 3-star, reportedly so close to mythical that the line was blurry. A light element flying troop type that's basically budget angels? Third exclusive troop slot. Decided. Wind centaurs for land. Water serpent people for seas. Light stonewing beasts for air. My army composition was turning into a complete combined arms force covering every possible battlefield. I was already drooling when the shipyard construction finished. Unfortunately, no materials meant no ships yet. The empty dock sat there looking magnificent and useless, like a Ferrari garage with no Ferraris. Some quick world-building notes I'd picked up. After the trial, all rookie lords get randomly dropped into the same region together. The endless snow plains was our neighborhood. No veteran players here, yet unless they specifically traveled in. So for now, it was just us newbies figuring things out. Which should have meant peace and quiet for a while. Should have. I'd barely walked back to my city hall when thundering hooves announced a visitor. Silfini came charging in, deliberately loud, which meant she wanted my attention. Normally, she moved like a ghost in silk slippers. She looked at me with those big, wounded eyes. Almost tearful. like a girlfriend who just caught me texting another woman. Oh no, the jealousy arc. With Boolean around, an actual human female, whatever, arrangement I'd had with Silfini was suddenly very complicated. I needed to redirect this conversation immediately. Silfini, what happened? Did you encounter something too powerful out there? Need more troops. I checked my gold. 5 million left. Enough for reinforcements if needed. She shook her head, switching to serious mode. Thank God. We found a Tier 3 large forest resource node to the east. We were about to claim it when a Jackal People army showed up. My stomach tightened. They didn't look like regular wild monsters. They looked organized, equipped, like another lord's exclusive troops. Another lord. Already. With an army big enough to contest a large resource node. Lucifer sent me to ask, do we engage or hold back? I frowned hard. We'd barely set up camp, and already someone was muscling in on our territory. A Tier 3 large forest was a major resource, daily wood production that would fuel construction for months. I couldn't just let it go. But picking a fight with an unknown lord and unknown troops on day one of the real game, that was also risky. I had no intel on their strength, their numbers, or what other forces they might have hiding nearby. This wasn't the trial anymore. Out here, mistakes had permanent consequences. This is not good news, I muttered. The snow plains were about to get a lot less peaceful. Quick terminology update. Outside the trial, everything uses a numbered tier system instead of the old quality names. Tier 1 equals normal, Tier 2 equals fine, all the way up to Tier 7 for mythical. My system kept asking me to switch over, but I hadn't gotten around to clicking yes yet. Too busy, building an empire. Anyway, a Tier 3 large forest is a big deal. Forests produce lumber. Lumber builds buildings. Buildings upgrade territories. Two lords spot the same forest. War. Every single time. No exceptions. No negotiations. Just violence. How strong are they? I asked Silfini. Here's the thing about alien races on the myriad races continent. Humans are, honestly, pathetic in terms of raw physical ability. Normal grade bodies. Some elites reach fine grade. That's our ceiling. It's embarrassing. That's why human lords need to recruit stronger alien species as troops. We literally can't compete with our own bodies. But for races that are naturally Tier 5 or 6, they don't need outside help. They just recruit more of themselves. So when Silfini said the enemy was fielding an all-Jackal People army, that meant their lord's race was at least Tier 5. Strong enough to not bother shopping for better soldiers. Wait for me. We're going together. I burned through 4.8 million gold recruiting and synthesizing another batch of centaurs. All female, half warriors, half rangers. Then left 10,000 epic chieftains on home defense duty. 30,000 fresh troops, ready to march. I jumped onto Silfini's back, pointed east, and we charged out with my reinforcements thundering behind us. Wind in my hair, army at my back, riding into battle on a beautiful centaur woman at impossible speed. If someone painted this moment, it would sell for millions. The forest was wedged between two snowy mountains, a valley 70 or 80 miles long, 30 or 40 miles wide, packed with enormous glowing trees radiating spiritual energy so thick you could practically chew it. Even from a distance, you could tell this place was special. At the valley entrance, Lucifer had positioned our main force, 120,000 epic centaurs in battle formation. Facing them across the gap stood the enemy. Jackal People, 3 meters tall, jacked, wolf heads on human torsos with wolf-like arms and legs, each one wearing beautifully crafted light armor and wielding the nastiest weapons I'd ever seen, serrated blades, ramhorn hammers, steel spikes. Their eyes glowed crimson red. Not the, let's talk this out over tea, type. I pulled up one random soldier's stats and my eyebrows climbed toward my hairline. Fenrir Jackal People Warrior. Epic grade. Level 9. Body stat over 5,000. Agility over 5,000. Practicing something called Fenrir's Dark Star Scripture. Skills all S rank, including shadow assassination techniques, and some terrifying ability to summon the power of the wolf god Fenrir himself. Descendants of a wolf god. Their footnote literally warned me. Interrupt their divine summoning or you'll have big problems. No wonder people say humans are the weakest race. These random foot soldiers were god-blooded killing machines. Only Lord-class professionals with recruited armies could even compete with species like this. I scanned the enemy force. 70 to 80,000. Probably just a portion of their full army, which was a scary thought. But I had Lucifer's 120,000 plus my fresh 30,000. 150,000 epic centaurs, all boosted by my territory's insane stat multipliers, led by a king-grade legendary hero. The math was in my favor, and that forest was not going to someone else. We attack. My 30,000 will circle around and hit them from behind. Yes, my lord. Lucifer didn't hesitate for even a microsecond. She raised the Wind Thunder Divine Spear and roared one word that shook the mountains. Charge. The earth itself trembled. Row after row of centaur warriors, 1,000 wide per wave, lowered their axe spears and surged forward like an armored tsunami. The jackal people responded instantly. A bone-chilling wolf howl split the air, and every single one of them dissolved into dark, blurry shadows and rushed to meet us. Fast. Scary fast. Tearing heaven hurricanes slash. Fire. Brilliant energy blades erupted from the centaur front line, cutting through the air like horizontal lightning bolts. The wave of shadow jackal people slammed into the energy barrage, and the results were messy. Explosions. Screams. The front ranks of jackal people got absolutely shredded. Shadow forms forced back into solid bodies. The ground was instantly covered in pieces of things that used to be warriors. The survivors were all wounded, bleeding, snarling. But here's what made my blood chill. Not one of them showed fear. Not a single flinch. Just madness. Pure, blood-red, kill-or-die insanity in their eyes. These weren't soldiers retreating from a bad trade. These were religious fanatics charging into a meat grinder and smiling. Then my centaur wall hit them. The steel flood crashed into what remained of the jackal front line. Axe spears came down like guillotines. The weak ones and wounded got split clean in half. The stronger ones barely blocked the first strike before getting body-checked by half-ton centaur warriors moving at full gallop. Bones shattered. Bodies flew. The crunching sound was absolutely horrific. And somewhere behind the enemy lines, my 30,000 reinforcements were quietly circling into position for the backdoor surprise. This was my first real battle against another lord's forces. No more trial mode weaklings. No more goblin villages and werewolf camps. This was a god-blooded warrior race with S-rank assassination skills and divine summoning abilities. And I was about to sandwich them between 150,000 hurricane-powered centaurs. Welcome to the real myriad races continent, puppy boys. My centaur warriors were machines. 6 meters long, 4 meters tall, wearing 10-centimeter thick hurricane armor. Charging at full gallop, they hit the jackal people line like a wrecking ball convention. These wolf boys were wearing light armor against heavy cavalry. That's like bringing a pool noodle to a tank fight. The first wave plowed straight through their formation. Jackal people went flying, got trampled, got skewered on axe spears. The ones who somehow survived the initial collision got stomped into paste by thousands of iron hooves thundering over them like the world's angriest stampede. I might have underestimated my own army, I muttered, watching the carnage. While the warriors punched through and looped around, my female rangers had already formed a massive circle around the remaining jackal people, closing in from every direction. Warrior squads specifically targeted organized groups, smashing their formations apart. The moment anyone got isolated, boom, a dozen rangers materialized with whirlwind swords and carved them into pieces. Kill notifications started flooding my brain like spam mail. Your warrior killed an epic jackal person. Loot. 5 spirit stones, 6 gold, Darkstar Claw. You receive a trace of Origin's spiritual energy. Your warrior killed an epic jackal person. Loot. 19 spirit stones, Bone-piercing Spike. Your warrior killed. Your warrior. Your hundreds of notifications per second. My head was basically a slot machine hitting jackpot on repeat. Spirit stones. That was the exciting part. These fist-sized crystals packed with dense spiritual energy are the myriad races continent's second currency. You need them for everything important: troop training, special building construction, spirit field development, powering defensive structures. Combat class players prefer spirit stones over gold because stones directly boost your power. Gold can't do that. The drop rate is terrible though, so getting them in bulk like this was a feast. Within minutes, the notification speed started slowing down. I looked up and saw why. The battle was basically over. Jackal people corpses littered the entire battlefield. My losses existed, but were small, mostly centaurs who got unlucky in close quarters. Each dead centaur stung, though. These weren't respawning NPCs. They were real. Each one recruited with real gold, synthesized through real effort, and now permanently gone. Dead means dead on the Myriad Races continent. No extra lives. No respawn timer. Unless you build special resurrection buildings like a Spring of Life or Pillar of Life, which I didn't have, every casualty was permanent. War here isn't a game. It's a business with the worst possible loss column. I was quietly mourning my fallen soldiers when the remaining Jackal People leader, bigger, meaner, clearly the boss, started howling. Not normal howling. Short, sharp, rhythmic barks. Like a chant. Like a prayer. The air changed. Something invisible and terrible began spreading across the battlefield. And in the sky above, a wolf appeared. Not a regular wolf. A 10,000-meter-long spectral wolf made of gray energy, slowly solidifying like a storm cloud growing teeth. Its fur looked hard as steel needles. Its eyes burned crimson red. It was staring directly at me. What? What, I asked that. I tried to check its stats. Everything came back as question marks. Quality. Level. Stats. My detection ability was too weak to read anything, which meant this thing was at minimum king grade, probably higher, possibly holy domain level. Way above anything on this battlefield. You dare slaughter the blessed children of the great wolf god Fenrir? The spectral wolf boomed, its voice shaking the mountains. Mortal. Receive divine punishment. My entire body locked up. Couldn't move. Couldn't breathe. An invisible force had me pinned like a butterfly on a board. I was level 7, a baby compared to whatever divine pressure this phantom was projecting. Protect the Lord, Lucifer reacted first. She raised the wind thunder divine spear, called down an ocean of purple cyan energy from the sky, and screamed. Wind thunder piercing lance. She transformed into a blazing energy javelin and shot toward the skywolf like a missile made of lightning. Across the battlefield, every centaur who could still fight unleashed their strongest attacks simultaneously. Sword QI storm. Kill. Endless waves of energy blades erupted upward, blanketing the sky in a blinding light show. The combined assault hit the wolf phantom, and I felt the paralysis lift. The pressure holding me vanished. I gasped, tried to move, tried to run, then my blood went cold. A new wave of terror hit me. Not the paralysis, something worse. A killing intent so sharp it felt like a knife pressed against my soul. My arms and legs went numb. My body completely refused to obey me. And cutting through the fading light of 1,000 sword energy explosions, a gray-white energy blade was screaming straight toward me. Getting closer. Closer. Move. Move. Come on, body, move. I was screaming inside my own skull, watching death approach in slow motion, completely helpless. My level 7 body is useful as a paper bag in a hurricane. This was not how I planned to die. Not to some ghost dog's parting shot. Not before I got to use my shipyard. Not before I hit max affection with Booleanshire. Not before I saw my void warships. Somebody do something. So this is how I die, I thought, watching a gray energy blade fly toward my face while my body played dead like the world's least helpful possum. Memories flashed through my mind, and not the heartwarming kind. No. My brain decided to replay my greatest hits of humiliation. Look, it's the skeleton boy. He's basically dying. Why bother coming to school? You won't even make it to 18 for the trial. Can he even, do anything? With that body. Ha ha ha. And the girls were even worse. Stay away. What if it's contagious? Just looking at him makes me want to puke. Disgusting freak. Go to a hospital, not a classroom. You know what? Dying while remembering being bullied by teenagers is the worst way to go. Absolutely unacceptable. Something snapped inside me. Pure, raw, stupid fury flooded my veins. I haven't even gotten revenge on those brats yet. I am not dying here to a ghost dog. My eyes went bloodshot. I thrashed against the invisible force holding me down like a fish fighting a net. Up in the sky, Lucifer and the entire Centaur army were going absolutely berserk, trying to save me. Every soldier throwing their strongest attacks at the wolf phantom. Destroy it. Divine projections only have one attack. Break the main body. Tearing heaven hurricane / sword blade storm. Heaven sweeping whirlwind / the sky exploded with light. The wolf phantom shattered into a million pieces. But the energy blade was still coming. Slower now, weakened, but still very much aimed at my face. Shadow swap, a familiar voice. A flash. My body got yanked sideways through space itself and slammed into the ground somewhere else. I hit the dirt so hard my teeth rattled. I blinked, looked up, and watched the boulder that had replaced me get obliterated by the gray energy blade. Pulverized into powder instantly. That was supposed to be me. I stared at my hands. Pale. Thin. Still attached to my body. Alive. I was alive. For exactly 3 seconds, I felt pure joy. Then a cold fury replaced it. If I'd been stronger, some oversized dog couldn't have paralyzed me like a statue. I stood there helpless while my soldiers died trying to save me. Power. Only power matters. Real power. I am never letting that happen again. Never. You? Getting stronger. A disgustingly familiar voice interrupted my dramatic moment. Just stay in your territory where you belong, little chicken. Stop wasting the Lord profession. I looked up. Long legs. Curves for days. Condescending smirk plastered across a beautiful face. Ing Shuiwe. Of course. What are you doing here? Oh, calling me by name now. Getting brave, aren't we? I swatted away her outstretched hand and covered my ears. I'll call you whatever I want. Darling works too. Remember our contract. Her knuckles cracked like firecrackers. Let's talk about this calmly. Calmly. After I finished getting educated about respect through physical violence, she explained everything. She'd been hunting nearby, heard the battle, and came to investigate. That shadow swap skill was from something called the Immortal Path profession. It could switch any person or object with something else nearby. Incredibly useful. Completely broken. And apparently her best move. She'd swap me with a boulder at the exact last second. I owed her my life. Again, the debt was really piling up. The Myriad Races battlefield is no joke, I said quietly as we rode back toward my territory. First fight against an alien lord, and I nearly died. DUH. She was riding one of my centaurs next to me, rolling her eyes so hard they were doing full rotations. How many times did I teach you this? Lords belong in their territory. You're a baby chick who wandered onto a highway. Then she leaned in close with a wicked grin and whispered, So, how was it? How was what? She glanced meaningfully at Sealfini underneath me, then back at me, eyebrows waggling. I froze, then turned bright red. Nothing happened. Sure. But troops don't need affection points like heroes do. They're available. You're telling me you didn't. I didn't. You can't? Is that the issue? No? I absolutely can. Then why? Stop talking. Confirmed. Cannot, I said. The moment we crossed into my territory, I felt it. Safety. Like a warm blanket made of spiritual energy wrapping around my entire body. If that wolf's attack had hit me here, my territory's power would have shielded me automatically. Lords can channel their domain's spiritual energy for defense. The battlefield was where I was vulnerable. My territory was where I was untouchable. Lesson learned. The hard way. As usual. Ing Shuiwe immediately started criticizing my city layout, like an uninvited interior designer. Why is the Spirit Lake here? Put it near the walls to boost the moat. Spirit Springs should be near the farmland, not floating around randomly. You build a training ground, but no personal guard unit? This is the Myriad Races battlefield. Enemies can sneak in. Wait, enemies can get inside a lord's territory? The textbook says. Her face darkened instantly. That's recent. My family's Ing Shuyan was attacked inside her territory on this very snow plain. If her hero hadn't been standing right there. Ing Shuyan? She's here too. Too? I thought you said you don't know Shuyan. Oh, I don't. You've just mentioned her name so many times that it's stuck. That's all. Really? Because I feel like you're hiding something. Me? Hide things. From you? Never. Her eyes narrowed to suspicious slits. I could practically hear the detective music playing in her head. I changed the subject so fast, I almost got conversational whiplash. But she let it go. For now. One near-death experience. One humiliating rescue by my fake girlfriend. One uncomfortable conversation about my love life with centaurs. And one accidental admission that I might know someone I shouldn't. Day 1 on the Myriad Races battlefield, everybody. It can only get better from here. Right? After Ing Shuiwe wandered off to meditate in one of the city hall's many spare rooms. Seriously, this place had more bedrooms than a hotel. I pulled out the thing I'd been dying to open since the battle. A 9-colored treasure chest. Mythical grade. Dropped by the wolf god Fenrir's spectral projection after we shattered it. Which was weird, by the way. That phantom was just a projection of divine power. Fenrir himself was very much still alive somewhere, probably plotting revenge. How does a living god's shadow drop loot? The textbooks had nothing on this. Just another mystery in a world that runs on mysterious mysteries. I'd been carrying this chest the entire ride home, practically vibrating with impatience, but someone wouldn't leave my side long enough for me to open it privately. Open. You have opened a mythical 1-star treasure chest. Obtained 111,111,111 gold coins. 111 million gold. I stared at the number. That's it. Don't get me wrong, 100 million is a lot. But a proper mythical chest opening with just gold should give up to 999,999,999. I got barely a ninth of the max. This was clearly a defective chest, probably because the wolf that dropped it was still breathing somewhere. Weird loot from a weird source. Whatever. Money is money. 100 million gold. Let me put that in perspective. My entire trial earnings over 30 days were maybe 15 million total. I just got 7 times that from one cracked box. Quick math time. Population cap at small city, 300,000. Current troops and farmers, 155,000. Remaining slots, 145,000. Cost to fill every slot with epic centaur chieftains through recruitment and synthesis, 17.4 million gold. That's nothing. I still had over 80 million left after that. I checked that Ing Shuiwei was deep in meditation, sprinted to the Lord's heart, and dumped 17.4 million gold into it. All centaurs. Female. Half warriors, half rangers. Go, golden light. Portal. Horse waterfall. Synthesis chain. Normal to fine to rare to outstanding to epic. 145,000 brand new epic grade centaur chieftains materialized in my city. Total army count, 295,000 epic grade centaur chieftains. Nearly 300,000. At the city stage, most lords are running armies of rare grade troops as their main force. Outstanding grade is considered elite. Nobody has epic as their standard soldier. That's supposed to be kingdom stage stuff. I was playing 2 entire evolution tiers ahead of the curve. Again, the adrenaline from almost dying was still buzzing through my system, which was honestly helpful because it kept me from curling into a ball and reliving those paralyzing final seconds on repeat. Instead, I channeled that energy into shopping. I opened the Endless Snow Plains trading platform, and wow, this was not the trial's cute little marketplace. This was a mega mall of magical goods. Weapons, pills, ores, materials, spirit plants, crops, martial arts books, skill books, endless categories, insane variety, terrifying prices. And all those tier 3 weapons, potions, and spirit meals I used to monopolize, the market was flooded with them. Thousands of sellers, all undercutting each other. My old money-making strategy was officially dead on arrival. Sustainable income. Need to figure that out. I muttered, frowning. But that was a tomorrow problem. Today was a spending problem. I started browsing construction materials. Tier 1 wood, stone, and iron were actually cheaper here than during the trial, and available in absolutely massive quantities. Some sellers had hundreds of thousands of units listed. I bought almost everything. 20 million gold worth of basic materials, vacuumed off the platform like a whale swallowing plankton. My city hall was buried under mountains of raw resources. Then I started synthesizing, grinding everything up to tier 3 2-star grade, which is what I needed for the next territory upgrade. But the real shopping goal was the defensive magic array. After reaching city rank, I'd unlocked the ability to build one. The system offered dozens of array types, but with my water vein system already in place, the choice was obvious, a water attribute array called Ocean Sky Ward. This beauty worked entirely through my existing water network. I just needed to build a bunch of water spirit sky pillars and plant them throughout the system. Once active, they'd project a water element spiritual energy barrier around my entire territory. Since I only had one spirit sea, it would technically be called One Ocean Sky Ward Array. Build more spirit seas? Upgrade to 2 ocean, 3 ocean, and beyond. It could even evolve along 4 extremes and 5 elements, paths for massive defense boosts. And here's the kicker. Even at its weakest configuration, this array could tank hits from Holy Domain creatures. Holy Domain is above King grade. The tier that nearly killed me today would bounce off my walls like a tennis ball. Never. Again. The main building material was water spirit crystals, fancy shimmering stones that every magic array builder needed. I searched the trading platform. Tier 1 water spirit crystal, 100 gold each. Tier 2, 1,000 gold each. Tier 3 and 4, 10 times higher per tier. Absolutely highway robbery. These crystals, along with earth, light, fire, and other elemental variants, were the universal building blocks for all defensive arrays. Every lord needed them. Supply was limited. Prices were astronomical. But here's what none of those sellers knew. I had synthesis. While they were spending 1,000 gold per Tier 2 crystal, I could buy a mountain of Tier 1 crystals at 100 each and merge them into whatever tier I needed for a fraction of the cost. I grinned the most villainous grin of my entire life and bought every single Tier 1 water spirit crystal on the entire trading platform. Every last one. Sorry, fellow lords. The crystal store is now closed.